Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Alexiot's here Sunday morning. We got a quick one coming in, quick 1 o'clock tip time for the Raptors against the Charlotte Hornets in the first game of two in Charlotte against the Hornets. I got everything you need to know for the game today at 1 o'clock. So strap yourself in. It's a game day preview. Toronto Raptors, Charlotte Hornets. With only 5 games to go in the NBA season, we know Nick Nurse has made an unfortunate pregame interview before the last game. Well, you know what? Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if we lose today, we are really messed up. Seriously, because the lineup news for this game today is insane. I'm just going to say that right now. I know that people are saying that Charlotte's dangerous, that they are playing very well right now, but honestly, yeah, maybe like a week ago, maybe when they were playing Dallas and Kyrie and Luka Doncic and their dysfunction of having Kyrie on that team, it's easy for them to get wins. It's 2 games in a row against the Dallas Mavericks. But I'm going to tell you right now, this team is very shitty. And if we lose to Charlotte, either one of these games, I'm going to be like pissed off because these are gimme games. I mean, listen, they have had good, strong contributions recently from people like Dennis Smith Jr. and PJ Washington. Well, both these guys are now hurt and they're not playing. So even their good players that rose up for them in the last week or so are hurt at this point. In fact, PJ Washington added to the injury list yesterday is now day to day. It is extensive for Charlotte. In fact, it's not really about who is not playing. It's about who is actually able to play because there's way more people that aren't playing than are able to play. I'm going to tell you that right now. Besides LaMelo, forget about him. He's not even anywhere near here. He's been gone for a while. Terry Rozier out today. Kelly Oubre Jr. out today. Gordon Hayward day-to-day, so he could possibly play today. PJ Washington day-to-day also. Dennis Smith Jr. day-to-day. They've got a lot of important injuries. Their best players, their starters that aren't even like their best players are all hurt right now. And in fact, they have been starting Svi Mihalik in recent weeks. And he has been a major contributor to them. In fact, he's been like the third scorer for them right now. That's what you need to know about where the Hornets are. Svi is their third option right now. And he is actually getting double-digit scores as a starter for the Hornets in their last little stretch of games. Like, I'll name the guys that are healthy for them right now. Svi Mihalik, JT Thor, who's been actually not bad for them. He's still coming off the bench, by the way. Mark Williams, Nick Richards, Theo Maladon, Bryce McGowens, Kai Jones, Kobe Simmons, and James Bouknight. That is the names of the people we will be facing today. Now, I don't care if Nick Nurse blew things up in weird ways before the game the other day. I don't care if we have any kind of injuries. If Gary doesn't show up again today, we need to beat this Charlotte team. This team is really bad. Just alone on talent. That if we can't beat this Hornets team, if they beat us, this is really serious problems. Like, it'll really signify that what Nick Nurse did the other day was absolutely horrible for this team. If we lose to the Hornets today, seriously, we have no business losing to them. You want to lose to Svi Mihalik today, Raptors? Our good buddy from Ukraine, Mr. Svi. Yeah, you want to lose to them? And in fact, it'll be just as bad if you lose to them the next time. But we'll take them one at a time, take this first game first, and take care of business. Because really, one of the main important things the Raptors need to be thinking right now is the number 42. Yeah, 42 wins. If you can get to 42, you're at 38 right now. That means you got to get 4 out of the last 5 to get to 42. I don't think it's likely. All right, well, let's say 41. Well, that means 3 out of the last 5. And that means a 500 season then. So you get the 2 games against the Hornets today and Tuesday. That gets you 2 there, and you only need to win 1 of the last 3. If you win 2 out of the last 3, well, hey, you're above 500 team. So let's take care of the easy business. The easier business with the Charlotte Hornets today and on Tuesday, Raptors, and get to 40 wins before you even have to go to Boston. It would be very, very intelligent and smart because then you can try and just get 1 of the last 3 games. Boom. You have had a 500 season. And that is actually a really good goal to have for the Raptors, considering everything that this dumpster fire of a season has been for the Toronto Raptors. Our injuries on our side, Delano Banton is now probable for today's contest. His thumb is better, and hopefully he will be able to play and do something today, because this is actually a great game for Delano to get out there and run with these youngsters on the other side and get some good quality minutes. In fact, I don't want to see the starters play much today either. I want us to beat them so bad that our starters can get a good rest and not have to play. That could be very good. Gary Trent Jr. is questionable for today. It does still seem like he will probably be out today. Will Barton, though, has been upgraded to probable, and he could very possibly, he should be playing today. So Delano and Will are upgraded to probable to play for the game today. So that's good news. Otto Porter, of course, still out. So that's it. It really is like it's looking like we may be just missing Gary, and we'll be getting Delano and Will Barton back today. So, yeah, that's the craziness. Meanwhile, we're getting guys coming back. Well, Charlotte's getting more guys going out, and it could very well be it's the end of the season. They only got 4 more games left, and they're just like packing up shop. And they're just like, well, who's kind of hurt? I don't want to play anymore, coach. Okay, you can go sit, PJ. Go ahead and sit today. That's fine. It's a little bit of that kind of stuff, because PJ Washington was their best player this past week. Well, if he doesn't show up and play today, there you go. We need to make sure we win today. Seriously, there's no messing around with this game. It's absolutely insane. If we went to do what we just did in Philadelphia against some of the creme de la creme with James Harden and Joel Embiid, and then we're going to go to Charlotte and play this weak-ass team and not perform and not do well against them, yeah, I'll be like, what the fuck is going on with this team? Seriously. Is there no reason why we shouldn't perform very, very well against a team that has not very much talent at all? No talent on this team today for the Hornets. And I handicap this may be one of the easiest games we should win this year. Because honestly, they should just be pissed off and hungry and wanting to kick their ass. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, yeah, Nick Nurse screwed our team up. Really, really did. Monique is here. Good to see Superfan Monique Lawrence. Always around. We love you, Monique. One of the best fans of the Toronto Raptors ever in the history of the world and existence. Monique Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. Let's crush both games in Charlotte. These are the games we are supposed to get. No ifs, ands, or buts. If we play right, we can sit the starters, but will the bench even show up? I hope so. I mean, this is a game where they could show up and really do well. I mean, Precious, Chris, can you guys step up and do something nice today? Can we see more Jeffrey Doughton Jr. today? Can we get Coloco a good burn out there? Maybe a 20 to 30-minute burn today, Nick Nurse. Can you afford to do this? One of your knocks is you don't play your bench. You don't develop your guys. Well, today's a good development day. You can get a good jump out on the weekend Hornets, get a good lead, and develop the hell out of your bench in the second half. Please, Nick, better late than never. Please, sir, develop that bench today against the Hornets because you kicked their ass and you're doing so well. Now, real quick, guys, today is Pascal Siakam's 29th birthday, y'all. That's right. Let's do it for Siakam, baby. Let's get out there and win this game against Charlotte for the Siakster. Come on, y'all. Let's do this for Spicy B, man. Mr. McFlurry, bro. Come on, Raptors. Do it for Spicy P, baby. Yeah, happy birthday, Pascal. We love you, and we hope you're spinning and swirling and kicking so much Hornet ass today out there. Maybe not playing a whole bunch in the game, playing just enough to kick their butt and then get to sit most of the second half. That'd be great. Happy birthday, Pascal. We love you. Yeah. Monique's also saying busy day for standings watch. Players must play 60 games. It's now 65, actually, Monique. It's not even 60. They got to play 65 games to qualify for postseason awards under the new bargaining agreement. I agree with this. I think it's an amazing rule. I think that this bargaining agreement has all kinds of good stuff in it, all kinds of different changes that are just good for the game and just a progressive update with the rules and what's allowed for the players. And I think that's really fantastic. I think they did a good job. And I'd like to think that both sides are pretty happy with what they got. Hopefully, we'll have to see. Let's see. Monique saying, busy day for standings watch. Players must play 65 games to win an award. It's official now, Lex. Thoughts? I love it. I love it. We don't need no Kawhi Leonard playing 50 games and getting an all NBA. No, you got to play Kawhi. In some ways, this incentive with the awards is actually really good to counterbalance load management. In fact, the logicalness of thinking about this is like, okay, you want to be sixth man of the year? You want to get any awards in this league? Well, you better be on track to play at least 65 games for the whole season. And if you're not, whoa, you better get healthy quick and get out there and get on the court. I like this. This is a good carrot to put in front of the players. Why not cater to their ego? That is a good way to motivate them. You want to get these awards, you want to get a higher contract, well, you better damn be playing. And it's just a smart rule, and it will have some good side effects. It really will. I think we will see the guys get up and get out there and avoid load management more often than you think, just because of this rule. And if they don't, well, then that just shows their motivation, that they don't care. They don't want those awards. They don't want more money. They don't want to play. Well, we may be able to suss out who exactly it matters to and who it doesn't more with this rule. Monique's also saying Malachi Flynn's alma mater defeated Florida Atlantic on a mid-range buzzer beater shot by Lamont Butler. San Diego State going to the final game, the championship game for the NCAA basketball March Madness tournament. And yeah, Scotty Barnes a little upset about it because, he was going for Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic, a little bit in his neck of the woods where he grew up down there in Palm Beach. Yeah, that's, he liked the Cinderella story. So he tweeted after the game, Scott Barnes, saying, too bad. You guys did such a good run and trying to get there. But yeah, he was disappointed that it wasn't FAU getting through to get to the championship game. But it was, in fact, Malachi Flynn's team, San Diego State. You go, Malachi, and your old alma mater. Yeah. Mike is here, logical Raptors fanatic in the house. Salute the real ones. Project Truth always. Always. Let's keep focus and put those hard hats on. Yeah, I don't know how heavy lifting this is going to be today, though, Mike. Like, really, seriously, I hear all this hype. They have nothing to lose. They're this and this. I look at them on paper, and I look at this team, these guys that are going to be showing up to play against us today, and I'm like, this may be one of the least talented teams that we've seen in 5 years. And, seriously, like 5 years, not just even this year. This may be the most untalented team that we've played against. I mean, maybe Thor. I could give Thor some credit for being a stud and being a very interesting player. But otherwise, these guys are chumps. Seriously, these guys are nobodies. These guys are guys that just aren't the best in the NBA. Trust me. And we need to beat their ass. We really do. Jimmy Pub saying, no excuses today. I want to see domination. That's right. That's right. Domination. Let's dominate them. Let's go in there and mess up these Hornets today. Seriously. This is an early game. It's a little weird. 1 o'clock games are always a little weird. We got two Sundays in a row to finish out the season. But listen, I'm telling you, no settings, no any kind of things going on with this game need to end up with the Raptors losing today. I'm serious. No excuses. No ref hit jobs. No this, no that. There can't be any excuses. They just need to win against the Hornets today. And in fact, once we win today, I'm going to say the same damn thing about when we play them the second time too. But we need to take care of the first one first. No craziness, Raptors. Now, if anything goes crazy and we do lose today, yeah, I'm going to blame Nick Nurse. I'm going to blame the hell out of him. I'll say it right before the game, right now. I will blame the hell out of Nick Nurse if we lose to a depleted, injury-ridden, shut down for the season Charlotte Hornets today. I will blame him. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. We have to get a W on Pascal's birthday. Yes, let's do it for our dude. Do it for our cool guy. Do it for the funster. Do it for the Siakam man. Yeah, let's do it for him. Cameroon's pride. Come on, let's do this for Siakam. I'm all about giving him a birthday present today by getting a good W and get some good feelings for the Raptors today. Yeah, Tom Duke is here. Good day, Raptor Freak family. Let's go, Lex. Yes, you go, Tom. We really better get some maple syrup today. Thick, pour it on, need to keep getting wins. Yeah, we need to do this. Yeah, get 100% Canadian maple syrup layer thick on top of them with the points. And like, let's beat them by 20 today. Come on, let's do it real nice today, Raptors. Let's do it right. Execute. Don't play down to their level and just play at the highest level you can and blow them the hell out. Dominate them, as Jimmy said, and just blow them out. That's what I'm all about. Monique is saying, I just booked my last ride of the regular season today. Go Raptors. Monique, getting ready for Easter Sunday versus the Milwaukee Bucks. The final game of the season, our final home game next Sunday, 1 p.m. I'll have the preview for you next Sunday morning at this time. I'll be on talking about that game, a very different game than the one today. Trust me. Fiercey's here. Good to see Fiercey. Saw Sarah making the chat today. I saw your comment yesterday. Fiercey, we miss you when you're not here live, but we know that you always come back and watch us and check out what's going on, what we said. But we're glad you're here this morning with us this time. Morning, fam. Missed yesterday. Friday was disappointing. Only Scotty Barnes showed up and understood the assignment. Hope they wake up today. Also, I checked out of the Nick Nurse bandwagon, ready for a change. Yeah, I did too. I mean, it's not even really a bandwagon. He's our coach and he's our guy. And we want to support our coach. We want to believe in him. And well, now we're feeling like we can't. Now we're feeling like let down. Now we're feeling like, what is this guy doing? There's still games in the season. Why didn't you wait, Nick? Why couldn't you wait? Why did you have to do this now? Why did you listen to Rich Paul and make a big dumpster fire for our team? Why did you put yourself on the headlines on the ESPN NBA section? That we don't like seeing any Raptors names in those headlines unless it's for awards or something good. And we don't like seeing our mention on ESPN on their website and being put on blast like you are now. I don't like it. Logical saying, what happened with Nick? Mike, you don't even know the drama that's going on with Nick Nurse right now. You do have no idea what happened with Nick. Wow, Mike. All right, we got to get you out from underneath this rock. Before the game on Friday night against the Philadelphia 76ers, Nick Nurse in his pregame press conference said that he is going to have to reassess his relationship with the Raptors in the offseason, take a few weeks off, and he is not feeling real good about being the coach for us anymore, that he's been burnt out, so to speak, that he's had a horrible year this year, and that he's kind of disenchanted. And he said 10 years with the one team is a long time, and I think that I might need to move on, is kind of what he was saying, reading between the lines. So we take this as a clutch strategy to try and negotiate. And I just hate the horrible timing of it. He literally said it before the game against Philly, and it caught fire. And now it's all over ESPN's main page saying that Nick is not happy in Toronto and that he does want to move. Now, I spent all this time last week debunking the Ime Udoka rumors, but now there is actual truth to Nick Nurse's unhappiness and him wanting to probably leave the Raptors this offseason. So, yeah, we're off the bandwagon, so to speak. Like Fiercey's saying, we are off the bandwagon with him. Because seriously, he didn't have to do that press conference. He could have waited 2 weeks or at least until, like, the thing was, he said he had two priorities for the rest of the season. Well, the first priority was to take weeks off in the offseason and think about his life and think about what he wants and think about whether he wants to be with the Raptors or not anymore. And then his second priority, an afterthought, was to help these young men get as far as they can in the postseason. I was like, yeah, you should have said that first, Nick. You know, you don't put the cart before the horse, and you kind of need to like see through your job that you're getting paid a lot of money to do in the season first before you check out, before you turn it off, and before you start saying, oh, I need to take a couple weeks off because this has been a tough year. Yeah, you're going to get a couple weeks off, motherfucker. We know that. But why are you saying it so bad, like you're under duress? It really smacked of like Nick Nurse is so uncomfortable and so unhappy as a coach of the Raptors that he couldn't help but talk about it in the media scrum before the game against Philadelphia. He could have just shut the fuck up. He didn't have to say any of this shit, but he did. And he opened up a big dumpster fire because of it. So yeah, Mike, go and watch the Nick Nurse interview stuff from before Philadelphia. And then also, just kind of check out the articles that are writing about it. And well, maybe there is some smoke fire where their smoke was this week, even though I came down on Doug Smith hard. Apparently he was right. And I hate to say that. And that we are maybe considering getting M.A. Udoka and having him as our coach. I pick Earl Watson. If we're going to replace Nick Nurse, I want to do it in-house. And I think Earl Watson would be a very interesting look for our head coach next season. But the writing's on the wall, and this motherfucker made a choice with what he said before. And yeah, now Raptors Nation, you know what? Listen, we're not going to be so friendly towards you, Nick. And listen, you've given us a scapegoat now. And just like I said the other day, the NBA came down hard on Tim Donaghy with the betting scandal and made him a patsy, made him a scapegoat. Well, Nick Nurse, you're going to be my scapegoat for this season now. You've put a big old bullseye on you, and you've motioned towards how you feel about things with us and the team. That, yeah, now you're getting the scapegoat for how bad our season has been. And I will blame all kinds of stuff on him now. Trevor's saying, good morning. Let's get this one, Raptors. I would like to say fans from other teams, there are only one championship and one winner. So you don't win and we don't win. So then you have, that's what you have to say then. Yeah, there's only going to be one winner every year. This is a culture around the NBA that the fans of all fan nations need to get over. Let's stop being so championship or bust. In some ways, we need to celebrate the teams like the Utah Jazz of the 90s that never won an NBA championship, but had the excellence of Stockton, Malone, and the great years after years, but they never won a championship. Well, are they great? Did they do good things? Did they win a lot? Yes, but they never actually got that chip. So why can't fans be like that? Like, if you have a very good team that is near the top of your division and win most of the games, but only one team wins the championship every year, can you allow for success that isn't the ultimate success in the NBA and feel good about it and proud about it? I put that challenge on all NBA fan nations, but especially ours, because in some ways that's something that needs to be amended. Championship or bust mentality is kind of fucked up. And it's not good for the NBA in some ways. Some ways fans need to go through the ups and downs of winning, and to get that ultimate prize, it's special. And it is something that isn't very easy to do. And some people just get spoiled. They see repeats with certain teams, and they're like, we want to be a dynasty. We want to do that. Well, that's not very likely for all 30 NBA teams. And I want people to kind of understand that at this point. Callie Mayer is here. Good to see Callie. Always interested to see Callie and wonder about what her stress meter is going to be like for the game. Well, Callie, I'm going to tell you right now, you shouldn't have a very bad stress meter at all today if everything goes according to plan and we just kick their ass. Good morning, freaks. We really need this win. I want to be able to breathe and relax and stop the dog from getting PTSD. See, that's what I'm saying. We don't want Callie's stress meter going crazy at her house so that her dog's getting post-traumatic stress disorder. No, we don't need that. We don't need Callie's dog getting all stressed out. So Raptors, just kick some ass today. We just want Callie not cussing, and we want the dog just sitting there having a happy time with a waggy tail and ooh, walking on eggshells, because the Raptors are losing to the Hornets in a really weird game on a Sunday. Monique saying, Dallas, do us a favor today, please. Signed, Raptors fans. All right. They didn't do a good favor for us last night. That's for sure. They could not beat Miami. Miami beat them. Let's do some standings watch since Monique brought it up. The Brooklyn Nets are hosting the Utah Jazz at 3:30 today. Of course, if the Jazz could beat the Nets, that's always nice. Can the Grizzlies go into Chicago and beat the Bulls at 3:30? That would be nice. Go ahead, Grizzlies. We're going for you West Coast teams. Dallas Mavericks, 6 o'clock. Go into Atlanta and beat those Atlanta Hawks and Trae Young. Please, Kyrie and Luka, can you find some sort of function and get some sort of scrape together, some sort of win at some point? Have some pride, gentlemen. You guys are all-stars, and you're not even in the play-in at this point. So please get up for this game against the Atlanta Hawks. Come on now. Don't mess around, Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Washington is in New York. That game doesn't matter as much, but, I mean, we don't really care who wins that. The Futile Bowl is Detroit in Orlando. Yeah, that one doesn't matter as much. A lot of games today. Indiana is in Cleveland tonight. That is a game we should probably pay attention to. Philly is in Milwaukee. There's another gem of a big battle of top teams in the Eastern Conference. Philadelphia at Milwaukee Bucks. So there's your standings watch and kind of your schedule watch. We're still tied with Atlanta right now. We have an easier opponent. Hopefully, for real, Dallas, can you do something for us? Come on, 21. Can you get out there and kick the Atlanta Hawks' ass? And we can beat the Charlotte Hornets, and then we can be in that 8th seed in the play-in and playing against Miami in the first round or in the play-in. Please, let's do that. Let's overtake Atlanta today, Toronto Raptors. Let's do it. Isaac Campbell's got the birthday cake for Spicy P. I love it, Isaac. Bring out that cake. I love it. Fiercey saying, I read Michael Jordan was in talks to sell his majority stakes. That is telling of how much he believes in that franchise. Yeah, he's trying to sell. He's given up. He threw his hands up. Last summer was such a dumpster fire with Montrezl Harrell getting arrested with a pound of weed in Kentucky. Miles Bridges with his charge and his trouble, him not being able to be around the team this year, all kinds of knuckleheadedness. They couldn't even get Kenny Atkinson to come and coach their team. They had to go get Steve Clifford. Yeah, Michael Jordan's about excellence and winning. Well, he's had enough. He's throwing his hands up and he's trying to sell his part in the team and walk away. I don't blame him. I really do not blame him. That Charlotte team is a mess. It really is. Yesterday, there was an April Fool's joke that was put out yesterday that Michael Jordan would be coming out of retirement at the age of 60 to suit up for the Charlotte Hornets against the Toronto Raptors today. That somebody put that out there, a graphic and everything saying Michael's sick of the Charlotte Hornets doing so bad that he's coming out of retirement to help them beat the Raptors today. That would be insane if Michael Jordan was in a Charlotte Hornets jersey today and he tried to play against the Raptors today. I just think it's a funny idea because we've seen Michael how he looked 20 years ago. How's he gonna look now? Come on now. I don't care if he is a GOAT, greatest of all time. That man is in his 60s, isn't he? Something like that. He's almost 60 or something. That man does not need to be out there. But that'd be amazing if he did. If that was true, I'd be like, yeah, I want it to be true. I'd love to see this Michael Jordan come back tomorrow, today. That'd be so weird. Mike's gonna say, I'm gonna check it first. Yeah, Mike, it's pretty bad. I mean, everybody's on the same page. Oren Weisfeld going crazy yesterday on Twitter about it. Now, I'm with you, Oren. You know what? Listen, don't be like Aaron Rose. Aaron Rose is kind of a bullshit motherfucker. But Oren, you're a good kid. We like you, Oren. I really do like you. And you are still enough of a hybrid of a journalist and a fan of the team that your natural feelings about what Nick Nurse did are very much made you angry, just like me. And when you're feeling like me or the Raptor Freak on Raptor Things, you're in the right place. Trust me, Oren. So don't question you being upset or tweeting about it yesterday about Nick Nurse's timing with his interview. Aaron Rose may be saying, what do you mean? Why is it bad? It's good for us. We're the media. Don't be like him. Have a heart still as a journalist. This will keep you separated from people like Aaron Rose and Doug Smith because you have a connection to it and you care about it. And in some ways, the writers and journalists that cover the Raptors that have a passion for the team, besides just basketball, is really, really comes through in your work. And don't ever lose that, Oren. This is an edge for you, bro. Aaron Rose can write all the sterile fucking bullshit, just writing it out kind of bullshit and have no heart, but you have heart. And that's what's going to separate you from everybody else in the years to come as this young generation of Raptors covers comes up more and more. So don't ever change, Oren Weisfeld. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you for being upset and talking about it on there, even as a journalist. And don't listen to Aaron Rose. Just because it's good for you guys with stories and writing stuff, don't be like him. You're exactly who you should be like, Oren Weisfeld. And I appreciate you in the Raptors community and the coverage you're doing. I really, honestly, you're one of my favorite people that is asking questions at the media scrum and just in your output of your work in general on the Raptors. You're fantastic, bro. So keep being you. Don't listen to Aaron Rose. Don't be like Aaron Rose. Trust me. He's not who you should be trying to be like. Because in some ways, he's bullshit. He's kind of just like tweet. He doesn't care. He has no scruples. You have a heart. So keep that heart, Oren. We're proud of you, man. Let's see. Nameless is saying, don't worry, y'all. As untalented as this team is, the refs will find a way to have us in the dogfight to make it interesting. Mark my words. All right, Nameless, since you brought him up, let's go to the ref report. And guys, listen, we got Tony again. Tony Brothers is our crew chief today. I love Tony, y'all. Y'all can't be mad at Tony. This is going to be fun. Listen, if we come out there lazy and this Charlotte team just starts outworking us with no talent, yeah, Tony will help them. But we can't let that happen. We need to just beat the shit out of them and dominate them. And then it won't matter. Listen, Tony Brothers is our friend. I have no problem with Tony Brothers, our crew chief today. He's in his 30th season as a referee out of Norfolk, Virginia. His favorite TV show is that Kiefer Sutherland show where it's 24. His favorite movie is Claudine. He likes the Earth, Wind, and Fire going through his speakers at his house. His favorite book is the Bible. He likes to eat fried croakers. His favorite app is Spotify, and he most like to visit Israel, and his hidden talent is cooking. Yeah, Tony Brothers considers his most memorable NBA assignment to be his first NBA Finals game, Game 2 of the 2012 Finals between the Miami Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So there you go. Tony Brothers, we won our last game that he refereed for us. We are 46% winning percentage when he's around. That's not good. Our overall career franchise record is 48% winning percentage, and we are 2/10 percentage points below that, 46%. But the Charlotte Hornets only win 43% of the time with Tony Brothers around. So it's 46-43 for the Raptors with Tony Brothers, the crew chief tonight. We know Tony's rules. Play hard, play right, and he will reward you. He is not necessarily going to go against you. He will reward hard work. Ray Acosta is the second ref. He's in his 6th season out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. This dude is all about mobster stuff. He likes The Sopranos. He likes Scarface. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He'll eat anything Italian. So, Tommy, get him whatever you want Italian-wise. His favorite app is Netflix. He'd most like to visit Fiji. He'd like to be in a shark tank surrounded by great white sharks in Australia. And his hidden talent is dancing. He's a very good dancer. Ray Acosta spent 6 years as a G League ref, working the All-Star game in the finals in 2017. Now, Ray is a little bit better than Tony Brothers. We win 50% of our games. We've won and lost exactly the same amount of games with him. We did lose the last game that Ray Acosta was present at. And, the Charlotte Hornets win only 29% of their games with Ray Acosta. So the split is 50-29 for the Raptors with the second ref, Ray Acosta. The third ref is our very good friend, one of my favorite refs, maybe one of the he's all Raptors referee team this year, Dedric Taylor, in his 10th season out of Miami, Florida. Dedric is awesome. He likes the show Good Times. His favorite movie is Crash. He also likes Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Tears We Cannot Stop. His favorite meal is breakfast. So we got a couple of ambiguous guys. We got fried croakers, Italian food, and breakfast. That is on the menu today, Tom. Favorite app is Candy Crush. He'd most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is skydiving. And his hidden talent is playing the trumpet and also juggling. Dedric Taylor was a former UPS driver. He drove a UPS truck for 13 years. Now, he is in our top 5 best referees in all the league. We win 71% of the time when he is refereeing. We won the last game he ref, and the Charlotte Hornets win 40% of the time. So it's 71-40 for Dedric Taylor. Like I said, he's a top 5 ref in the league for us. We win a lot when Dedric Taylor is present. So not a bad ref crew, honestly. We know what we get with Tony Brothers. And listen, this is Charlotte. Come on, man. Seriously, this is Charlotte. So this isn't a bad crew at all. In fact, I don't think there'll be any funny stuff. If there is, it'll be because we're getting outworked and we're playing lazy, and Charlotte is busting their ass. That's the only way I could see Tony Brothers screwing us over today, is if we're being lazy. And we'll deserve it if we're being lazy against them. Fiercely saying Earl Watson has already coached the team, the Suns. Didn't pan out well. Wouldn't Adrian Griffin be a better replacement or fit considering his longevity in the Rap system? I could go with either one of those in some ways. I don't know. For some reason, I just like Earl because in some ways he's kind of younger and hipper. And in a bit, kind of ways, I'd be very curious to see him as a head coach at this point. Adrian Griffin's been a head coach at times too, also, and he wasn't exactly super great either. He was a head coach in Dallas for a little bit, for a sec. I don't know. The other thing is Adrian's really joined at the hip with Nick. And that if Nick is going to leave, I have a feeling that Adrian will go with him as his number one assistant. And that he may be that, like, you got to realize some of the existing coaching staff may go with Nick and not actually want to hang around here with us. So that could be a factor in it also, that the doctors may want to go together as a set. And that's what I'm thinking about too with that. I mean, internally, I think Earl is our best candidate. I really do. I mean, Adrian, he should get a chance maybe. I mean, if he's going to split from Nick, I could see that. But in some ways, they have a very tight working relationship, just like with Bjorngren too. And I think that they're kind of Nick's guys, and that if they go somewhere else, he'd probably go with them, especially if it's looking like what Clutch is trying to maneuver with Nick going to the Lakers. Because I bet you that's what they're trying to do. It's so dumb that they did this. Like, why did you do this, Nick? Did Rich Paul put you up to this? It's a really bad negotiating strategy, and I think it kind of backfired on you. Like, you didn't go the way you thought, and maybe you regret like saying what you did before the game against Philly. Because if I see you all of a sudden as the coach of the Lakers next season, I'm gonna think something's fishy. That there's weird tampering. That you're going to coach the guy who owns your representation company that you have as representation, Clutch. That LeBron James owns Clutch. And if all of a sudden you're coaching LeBron James as a Clutch client, that's going to be real fucking fishy to me, Nick. It's real fishy. And somebody said on Twitter too that, like, look at this, Nick. Like, you have a degree in sports leadership. You have a PhD in sports leadership. What kind of fucking sports leadership were you showing on Friday night before the game? Like, that does not seem like a very intelligent, smart person that has a doctorate in sports leadership, making that kind of a leadership decision for his own selfish self in contract negotiation. See, this is a crazy thing, Mike, that we thought all year that it might be a player that has been doing weird shit to get their contract different. Well, it may have been Nick this whole time instead, not even a player. He's doing weird shit because he's got his mind on his contract. That's what I'm saying. I don't like painting Nick like this, but everything that I'm getting from what he did on Friday is going in this direction, that he is doing this for his own selfish self in negotiating for money. And he's fucking up our stretch run and trying to get in the play-in and do a good job and get these youngsters more playoff experience. Yeah, he should have waited. He could have waited 2 weeks before he said what he said. That would have just helped things so much more. Oh my gosh. Let's see. MSJ saying he's up on Nick Nurse. He was told now maybe he is saying stuff. So whatever. He isn't on the court and the players play and win. An NBA coach needs to manage. It's not like the players don't know plays. I know MSJ, but I'm going to come down on him. Seriously, he's targeted himself as a scapegoat on this now. Because look, there's no way I can say what he did on Friday was good. When you signal like that, you show weakness. There's just not smart in any kind of way. Like, he's already been having trouble this season dealing with emotions and personal things, and he could have kept it bottled up still. He's that pissed at Masai that he's got to make our shit public, because really that's what it is. The problem is between him and Masai, that at some point this season, Masai went from you can dream about getting Nick Nurse Lakers. You can, like, we dream about Kobe and Messi and putting him in the names with those people. Well, at some point during the season, Masai and Nick would, because that's what's going on here. You can tell that, like, yeah, Masai's not happy with Nick, and Nick knows it. And this is part of what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know. Easing up on him. I mean, I feel bad for him if he had something personal happen to him, and this has been a hell of a season. But he needs to be stronger than this. He needs to be smarter than this. Once again, they can hide a Kyle Lowry injury the whole championship run in 2019, and we don't find out about it until a couple months later. They can hide shit like this. They should know when you're in the trenches, you're about to do stuff like this. Like, if a player did what he did on Friday, we'd be roasting him right now, like we're roasting him right now. And it shouldn't be any different. It really shouldn't. It was a distraction. It was unnecessary. It was horrible timing. And he just needed to shut the fuck up for 2 more weeks. He could have felt all this on the down low, but he didn't need to talk to the press about it. And that's where I have the problem with. Go ahead and say all this. Of course, we understand you want to take a couple times off. This has been a long season. You need a couple weeks off. But when you start saying stuff like, I need to assess my relationship with the team, 10 years has been a long time. It's been a good run. Well, I can read between the lines in what you're saying, Nick. You said enough. You're leaving. I get it. You're leaving. And even if you're not, in some ways, it's already kind of like you're already showing that you're not very happy about being here. So I'm pissed. I'm pissed about it because right at the end of the season, we did not need this. This was unnecessary. There's been enough distractions and bullshit all season. Leslie is saying, good to see Leslie Hart, by the way. Good morning. I think that Nick Nurse knew what he was doing. Does he really want to leave, or is he trying to motivate the team? This isn't enticing us to want him here. Seriously, that's why I think this backfired. Like, if this is a negotiating strategy to stay with the Raptors, well, that was a complete backfire because that's not how it came across. It came across as like reading between the lines as saying, I'm done here and I want to move on. That is what he was saying to me. I can put one and one together in what he was saying, and it sounds like he's checked out and he's not with doing the Raptors anymore. Maybe the whole horrible Tampa season, difficult year this year is just too much, and he's had enough, and he wants a new challenge. We got to remember Nick Nurse's career has very much been like a carpetbagger. That this guy goes from place to place really quickly. He has not stayed in places for very long. This is the longest he's been in one spot probably his whole entire professional coaching career. And that in sometimes he just needs more challenges. He needs new environments. He needs new people. He needs new surroundings. And because that's kind of who he's been his whole coaching career, moving around Europe, moving around the UK, going to the CBA, being in the G League. He's been all kinds of stops. Maybe he's like just found that like, okay, I can't be like a Pop and stay in one spot and just be Toronto's Popovich. I have to ramble on, hear my song. He's got to keep going. He's got to ramble on, woman. It's like he's going to leave you. Baby, I'm going to leave you, woman, in the summertime. In the summertime. He's singing Led Zeppelin to us right now, is what Nick Nurse is doing. Oh, man. Let's see. Top of Top say, morning, Lex. Haven't been here for a minute. What do you think Raptors should do in the offseason? I'm looking forward to that. Nick Nurse is checked out, and Fred is sabotaging the offense. So that's where I'm at. All right, I can get with you on the Nick checking out thing, but I can't get with you on the Fred part. I want them to make no changes other than the coach. We'll get a new coach this summer, and we'll see what a new coach driving this team, sitting at the wheel, driving this team will do with the personnel that we have. I don't want to get rid of anybody. Now, if Gary's on his way out, because there's some speculation about this too, that another clutch client being a little weird at the end of the season, if Gary doesn't play another game this season, I'm going to take that as more writing on the wall with him, that he is gone this summer. And otherwise, we re-sign Yak and we extend Fred. And we go forward with this core. Otherwise, we make a couple little changes. We get a new coach, and boom, we try it all with that. And that's kind of what I see for the offseason right now as it speaks. But things are changing quickly with people making out-of-pocket statements and saying stupid shit to the press. Seymour saying, top of top, that's deep. That's deep. A lot of people are trying to blame Fred for the end of the game the other day. But listen, Scotty missed shots. Pascal didn't take a whole lot of shots at the end of the game. In fact, somebody added up all the shots in that last period of time, and the person who took the most shots was actually Scotty, and he missed a lot of shots during that period of time. So people kind of coming down on Pascal and Fred for their failings in clutch time against Philadelphia. Sure, it's warranted to a degree, but realize every single one of them was garbage in that last 5 minutes. That we only scored 2 points in the last 5 minutes against Philadelphia, and there was a layup by Scotty, and that was it. So I don't know. Fred is definitely not sabotaging our team. He's trying to do what he's supposed to, and with mixed results of success. Let's see. Let Me Cook's here. Good to see Let Me Cook. Hey, Raptor Freak, do you have any coaches in mind that you would like if Nurse is gone? Well, we've been talking about it. Like, if it's serious about Udoka, he has a connection to Masai. Apparently, they're good friends. If I said yesterday, I trust in Masai, and that if he vets and does his due diligence with M.A. Udoka, and he feels comfortable with him being the coach, like I said, if he wants to have his little open marriage stuff, like his little trysts and different fun little relationships with different women, just make sure they aren't employed by Larry Tannenbaum and MLSE. Just make sure there ain't nobody like in the coaching staff, no support staff. I don't even care. I don't want you to go up and talk to the girl who pops the popcorn. I don't want you talking to anybody in the organization at all, MA. There's all kinds of beautiful women across Toronto that have no connection to our company. So you can have that open relationship with a whole bunch of different women around the city, not named Nia Long, but they can't work for us. So if Masai does his due diligence, MA will be great for us, guys. He will do a good job coaching, and he will get us somewhere. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with hiring him if Masai signs off on it. I trust in Masai that much. Now, that is the dream candidate, I guess, just because of the results he had in his one season with Boston, that he is a very capable, hotshot, young, upstart kind of coach. Just the extra baggage is what makes you worry about him. And I don't know. I think that the risk reward is interesting. And the situation with Nick has made me more flip my opinion on this as far as like, yeah, you know what? If Masai checks off on it and he says that this is going to be our next coach, I would be fine with it because I just blindly trust Masai because I have to. His record has been so great. I'm going to believe in Masai. The Kawhi move, who could get mad at him about that? Well, I was mad at the time, but it all worked out and made me trust him more. So it's that kind of thing. Now, internally, I'd like to see it be Earl Watson. If it's going to be somebody who's already on our coaching staff right now, and in some ways, I really like that move because I think he has a good, strong connection with younger players because being younger and kind of being a former player, in some ways, he has a lot of clout. He has a lot of like, people listen to him because he is a very, very respected old vet from his days and playing in the NBA. There's a lot of people who have said they came into the league and Earl Watson was that old head vet that taught them how to play right and be a pro. That's the kind of leadership you want to hear. So we'll see. I guess that answers your question. Let me cook. Fiercely saying, I'm not too confident about Dallas beating the Hawks. Another loss yesterday. Yikes. That Kyrie-Luka combo seems to be a fail. Oh, yeah. I mean, in some ways, we knew it was going to be. Mark Cuban, you're an idiot. You're such an idiot. In some ways, you might have really messed up bringing Kyrie to your team. You think it sounds so good, but in some ways, if you really looked at it realistically, this was going to be a fail all along. I knew it. I knew it as soon as they did it. I was like, you know what, Dallas, you deserve what you're going to get. You really do. G saying, why would Fred sabotage the offense, especially during a contract year? That doesn't help his stats and has more leverage when the team wins. Yeah, no, Freddie's trying to do everything he can to help the team win. It's just that his shot has been inconsistent throughout the year at different times. There's been times where he's been fantastic and hitting. Then there's been times where he's struggled very mightily. Well, right now, he's kind of in a weird, it's not that he's totally struggling because he is hitting shots here and there, but he isn't on. He's definitely not on like he was like a month or so ago. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. Maybe today he can get out of the mud and have a huge game today. And a lot of his haters will just, Fred, we'll see. So Isaac saying we could have traded Fred for Kyrie and been rest in peace instead of Dallas, but we won't because Raptors invest in good character players and coaches. That's what I'm hoping. And that's the thing that I wonder if we do get Udoka. We got to wonder about all that with the package with him. I mean, he's a fantastic coach. He gets a lot of young players. Then also, if we do end up getting him this summer, there is a connection with Jaylen Brown. If Jaylen Brown's not happy in Boston, we said, well, one leads to another. Boom, all of a sudden, Jaylen Brown's in Raptor Red and being coached by Udoka on this side of the border. That's interesting. It's weird. It's like we got we turned a little bit like Boston Celtics. But wow, interesting. That could be very, very interesting if that kind of stuff, those dominoes fall in that direction. Seymour saying it's all good. It's all good. We're all Raptor freaks are entitled to our own opinions. That's what makes this great. Everyone have a great weekend. Still healing from the dentist. That's right. Seymour had to get sedation for his dentist appointment the other day. So he's a little loopy and he's still feeling it. I hope that it all heals up better and faster. Hopefully you're not eating meals through a straw, Seymour, and things will get easier for you in your mouth and not feeling too crazy. That is important. Listen, once again, I don't want all y'all to just agree with me blanketly. I come here, the opinions expressed on this stream are solely my own and not necessarily every individual who's sitting in this stream right now making comments and talking to me. That I understand that. And, you value my opinion, obviously, to want to be here and listen to me. And I value y'all's opinions in reverse. that I really do get a more well-rounded view on things when I hear y'all's opinions also, because I'm not the end-all be-all, and you guys very much influence me also. Trust me, you very much do. Damus is saying plot twist. Toronto Raptors sneak into the play-in and win the 2023 NBA championship. Well, I was kind of trying to paint this scenario yesterday. It's all right, Nick, this is some weird motivation speech. Oh, Nick's going to be leaving, y'all. We got to get him one more before he leaves. And all the guys rise up and kick so much ass at the end of the season and kick butt through the play-in and then kick butt all through the playoffs and win our second championship this year just because we know the clock's ticking on Nick and him leaving. Let's get him one more before he leaves. Let's do it for the Kipper. Yeah, let's do it. He may have gave up, but we haven't. We're going to fucking make him coach all the way to the NBA championship. Yeah, Nick. See, that's the thing that pisses me off about it, Mike, is this dude's ready for rest. Nick has said, I'm ready for some weeks off. And well, dude, that doesn't really, like, I don't want you to have weeks off yet. If you want to win that championship, we need you to be coaching right up until June, bro. And like, you're already got your foot thinking about on the beach and stuff like that. That's no good. That's no good, Nick, because that doesn't signal that you guys are going to try and get a deep playoff run or going to try and do much. In fact, if you bow out in the play-in real easy, I'm going to be like, yeah, Nick gave up before the Philadelphia game. That's exactly why we lost in the play-in right away to Miami, and boom, then we lost in the second play-in to try and get the other seed to whatever other team. You know, if we lose out in the play-in, I'm going to very much blame Nick Nurse giving up before the Philadelphia game on Friday night. I very much will, yeah. Tom's got the food out now. He's got a bunch of fried croakers for Tony Brothers. He looks like you got 3 fried croakers from the Mississippi Old Man River. Yeah, that's where you get those croakers. Fried croakers is a fish. It's not even a frog. It's a fish. And it comes from the Mississippi River. And that's Tony Brothers' favorite meal. There's the Italian from Ray Acosta. And then that looks like that's breakfast food. He's got the eggs and bacon, but he's going to make Dedric make it himself. Don't do that to Dedric, Tom. And why are you giving him Robin eggs? Give him the real eggs. Dedric's our friend, bro. Don't be doing that. Don't make him do work. Give him bacon and eggs, not the pig and the eggs in the nest. Come on, Tom. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be lazy. Come on. Give Dedric the good meal. He's our favorite. Dedric's our guy, bro. Seymour saying, never overlook an opponent. It always comes back to bite. I know, and I'm not trying to. I'm just telling you, seriously. Like, the dude who may be their leading scorer today is Mahalik, guys. I'm not lying. Seriously, we're going to show up, and you're going to see Svi lining up on the other side against us, and it'll be nice to see him, hugs, and say, hey, it's Svi, guys. Everybody loves Svi. Yeah, but I'm just saying they're relying on him to score a big part of their points right now to get anywhere. I know you never want to underestimate, but I'm just saying on paper, the talent with the Hornets, the talent with the Raptors, there's no business with them getting anywhere near beating us on the court. I'm serious. If there is, then once again, I'm going to blame Nick Nurse. I'm going to say he absolutely destroyed this team with 6 games to go in the season. He you know, that's what I'm saying. He's the scapegoat. I'm just going to blame him blanketly for everything that goes wrong for the rest of the season, because in some ways it's true. It is very true. Mike's saying, Lex, I found it. It sounds like a guy with a contract coming up. He's not really saying anything in that pregame, and he talks about this season too. It's normal business talk, contract uncertainty, in my opinion. Nah, Mike. Did you watch the whole thing? I watched it live when it happened. And like, seriously, Mike, he's checked out. He's checked out. There's been times this season where other people have come into our chat and said, Nick Nurse is checked out. And I said, no, he hasn't. Well, in some ways, I kind of believe them now. That I don't know the reason that he took the personal leave in December was because of personal reasons or because he got in a big, huge fight with Masai Ujiri and he had to go away from the team for a sec because he's anger or something like that. There's been weird shit going on this whole season with Nick. Some of it we'll never, ever know. It could have to do with his personal life and things that he went through. But still, this has been a really bad year with him. And in some ways, yeah, I'm turning on him, Mike, because in some ways he shouldn't have done that then. And it is definitely like what you're saying is that he's doing it as a negotiation tactic. Well, fuck that shit. That's not good for our team and our situation right now. Mike, look into it a little deeper. You'll understand. Like, read through the lines of what he's saying and really listen to him. You can hear that he's already left the Raptors mentally. You can tell, Mike. You can tell Nick has already left the Raptors mentally. Tom's saying we have a chance. Let's freaking go, Seymour. Yeah, no cakewalks in the NBA. Well, I'd like it to be as close to one today. I'm just saying this should be looking like a cakewalk. If everything is the way it's supposed to be, yeah, we need to beat their ass. They don't have anything for Jakob. They have nothing for Scotty. They have nothing for Pascal. They ain't got nothing for OG. They ain't got no way to stop any of our guys. We should be running them off the court and like killing them by like 30 today. Seriously. Seymour saying, we sure do, Tom. Hawks got to lose too. Mavs, get your shit together. That's right. Get it together, Kyrie. Come on, y'all. G saying, logical. I'm a Knick fan, but the timing of what he said was, in my opinion, inappropriate. He could have waited until the offseason if he wanted to talk business. The team needs motivational speech right now. Yeah, this is the worst thing to do. You know, some of these guys may have trouble motivating right now for the last part of the season right now. Well, if the coach is signaling this and saying this publicly, what kind of message does that send? Like, seriously, Mike, I want to stand up for Nick, but I can't after what he did. This is really messed up. And seriously, I don't want him to coach us next year. At this point, I can tell that he's part of the problem. And if he's going to put a big bullseye on him right now, well, I turned on him and I'm going to scapegoat him for this season. That everything this year is his fault. It's not Fred's, it's not Pascal's, it's not Scotty's, it's not Masai's, it's not Bobby Webster's. We were looking for a scapegoat. Well, Nick Nurse pointed out himself as the scapegoat, and he's going to be the scapegoat. And that's how it's going to go down. That's how it is. Smooth saying they win in spite of Nick Nurse, not because of him. Yes, you're right. When Nick leaves, he will take some of the staff with him. I really look forward to the next coach. I'm just very curious to see if we give the keys to another coach, what he gets out of the talent on our team. If things are way more smoother, if we get rid of this crazy defensive scheme that we've been doing, but maybe temper it a little bit. You know, the guys are already into doing that aggressive kind of defense. Well, maybe they tone it back a little bit and they have a little bit more energy on the offensive end. I want to see shooting percentages go up. I want to see a more solid half-court offense. I want to see development with our bench guys where we know that Delano's getting better because we see it. But we see Koloko out in the court getting better during the season. These are all the things I want to see because these have been knocks on Nick. And I want to see somebody come in and do all of them successfully and see incredible results from it. Because in some ways, you know what? I hate that I'm dumping on Nick at this point. And I will respect his legacy and his accomplishments with this team forever. Trust me. But this is really turning into a really weird like ending for him with the Raptors right now. This is turning into a really, really weird ending. And like I said, he's saying he's got to assess where his relationship is with the Raptors after he sits for a couple weeks. That's not good, Mike. That is not good. That means that something's been fractured and that something ain't exactly right. He's never talked like this before, a contract like this before. And you may think it's run the mill, but the timing's horrible. And I'm just really pissed at him. I'm really, really pissed at him. He did not have to do that in Philadelphia of all places with jabroni, regular old reporters. He didn't even do like an ESPN piece away with one person and really controlled it. He did it at the media scrum and he did it on the fly in a way. He did it very calculated. Just like Fred decided he wanted to take a $30,000 fine to talk about Ben Taylor, Nick Nurse did this very much on purpose. And that's why I'm pissed at him. Top saying, how could Fred in good conscience say Pascal is all NBA when he continually turns into Pillsbury Doughboy in the fourth? All right, Top, watch out. You're getting a strike right now. You're getting a strike. Fred is a politician. I'm glad some fans are finally seeing the light. Fred is a good player. Fred has been sullied and had all kinds of bullshit thrown at him by idiots on YouTube. Certain people are falling in line with him. Certain people are buying some of his shit. I don't believe any of that crap. I don't like your comment. You're getting a strike. Fuck all this shit. Especially you calling him a Pillsbury Doughboy. That's kind of like a diss on his appearance. And that's not totally fair. And I don't think that's right. Fred can say that he thinks Pascal's all NBA, of course, because he's his friend. He's trying to set him up. He's trying to help him. He's trying to help him get paid, get bigger money and stuff like that. So it's like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Fred's a politician. Okay. He's got to be a politician with the refs. He's got to be a representative for a team. He's got to be a representative for a team in the league. as a, person in different ways. And he is very good at it. Listen, I'm not having this, man. Seriously. We can go after Nick right now, but I'm not going after Fred also, because Fred, seriously, we got our scapegoat. Let's Donaghy Nick. We don't need to do anybody else. We lump it all on Nick's shoulders and scapegoat the hell out of him. Nameless is saying, I think the new coaching shuffle with the staff off season has something to do with Nick Nurse's sudden change of heart. Maybe the coaching staff not seeing eye to eye or sending mixed messages. I think that at some point, Masai was upset with Nick because of the results of the team. I think that honestly, we really look at this season and see some of the games where we lost. We could say that there's been major coaching failures. Like, I could specifically probably point to at least 5 close losses from this season that was on the coach that we lost. It wasn't even on the players. Like that AJ Griffin shot with Atlanta, that's on the coach in some ways, that he didn't have them set up or right. There's been all kinds of horrible coaching decisions by Nick at different times of season. So it could be, listen, Bobby Webster and Masai have their own way of analyzing everybody's job and how they're doing. And they may be looking at what Nick's done and they say, like, this guy's been a failure this year, that they have metrics and they have standards of measuring this. And in some ways, maybe they're like, on the down low behind the scenes, maybe like Masai's like, Nick, you need to execute better at the end of the games. Why are our players so tired? Are you overplaying them so that they're too tired at the end of the game to make the shots when they really count? And Nick, why are you not calling plays in certain ways at the end of the games? Like, why aren't you getting the ball to Scotty in this situation? Or why are you not developing Koloko and putting him in this situation in this first half to help us in the second quarter against Philadelphia when we could have helped? He could have helped us. It's decision making that Nick's making this year has been awful in a lot of ways. I've covered up for him and tried to protect him this whole season, but in a lot of ways he's been fucking up left and right. And that's something that people need to realize about Nick's job this year. And also, we've talked about this, and Mike, you can agree with this because you've done pieces on this. Maybe we don't need the kind of coach that he is right now for where we are in our franchise. That maybe we need to go back to a Dwayne Casey kind of development coach, a coach that knows how to develop the young guys and a younger team that's kind of up. And Nick's good at getting like an older vet team and taking it home to the championship. He's like a late stage coach, whereas we need somebody who's a little bit more a different kind of coach right now. I think that's part of it also, that we reverted from the championship year and the couple years after that with Gasol and Serge still there. Then we went to Tampa, and really since Tampa, Nick's been a bad coach for us because he doesn't coach that level of team as well in this kind of situation in the NBA. So we need to get back to more like a Casey coach is what I'm saying. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm excited about change and opportunity. Obviously, there's going to be change, and that's it. G saying, I don't blame players and coaches for treating themselves like a business because the owners and organization do. I don't expect salary cuts because they can easily be traded. But Nick should have waited. Yeah, it's just horrible timing. In some ways, like I liken it to this, Mike. What if, basically he said it. Now, who's to say the fans should tune in and watch the game at 1:00 today? It seems like the coach is checked out for the season. Why should any of the fans pay attention to the Raptors for the rest of the season or even in the play-in? They should just start watching, the baseball with the Blue Jays, or, get more into the Lightning versus the Leafs in the first round of the NHL playoffs. In some ways, it's bad for business what Nick did because he's signaling that he's kind of like already done with this season and it's not even over. And that pisses me off in itself too, because in some ways he's not giving our team a chance to try and do something special out of the play-in, that he's just already kind of waving a white flag. And that pisses me off so much, Mike. You got to understand, it really pisses me off. Lion Hunter saying you can be a fan of Nurse and still think what he did was inappropriate, because it was. Your team is fighting for a playoff spot. You don't make it about you. Yes, I love Nick Nurse. I always love Nick Nurse, but now things have changed with our team, where we're at, and he doesn't fit our team anymore. I really can honestly say that at this point, and I think he understands that. I think that's part of the problem, is that he understands he's not fitting with where we are with our franchise at this point. And that's too bad. It's just too bad. It is what it is. But he's always going to be our championship coach for the first championship. And he's always going to be certain important things in our history. And you can't take that away. As much as we still love and respect Casey, The same thing will be true with Nurse. Now, if he goes and fucking starts coaching the Boston Celtics next year, fuck you, Nick Nurse. Seriously, if you are going to be in the coaching the NBA next year, you better be in the Western Conference. I do not want to see you regularly on an Eastern team. If it is, it better be Orlando or some shitty ass team, but no Boston Celtics. Like if you're going there and we're just replacing, like we're doing a weird switch where Udoka's on our team all of a sudden as our coach, and all of a sudden Nick Nurse is the coach of the Celtics next season. Yeah, that's going to be really fucked up and weird. And yeah, he's going to be an enemy at that point for sure. Let's see. Mike saying everyone is reading everything written, and that skews the words. He's saying he's talking like a free agent in sense. Like every player kind of says, jumping in the cliff on this isn't smart. Wildness, in my opinion. Mike, you can stand up for him, but I watched it live. I didn't read it. I heard his voice. I saw how he said it. He's fucking given up, dude. Seriously, he's given up. He gave up. He's given up with 6 games left in the season. And I hate that so much. It's like he's so strong and he could have just shut up and not said anything. Even if he felt this inside on the down low, he shouldn't have fucking put it out publicly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that this is really bad timing and just really selfish. I'm sorry. You can say, oh, this is what players do. I don't give a shit. It's still wrong. If you have integrity and you care, I don't care if it's a negotiating ploy or it's selfish for yourself. He has a PhD in sports leadership. He should fucking know better. He's a doctorate on this subject. He doesn't know how toxic and bad this is. It really just shows in some ways he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's kind of stupid. Maybe he's so arrogant he doesn't even understand how fucking stupid this was. I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of this. I'm reading between the lines. He said, I have to see where I'm at with my relationship with the team. He's saying 10 years has been a long run. It's been a long run. When you say shit like that, that means you're done, bro. I'm sorry. You can go watch him. Watch him. Don't just read what he said. Go watch the footage and you will see what I'm saying, Mike. And first of all, he said, look, my priorities are this. My priority is to get time off and get a couple of weeks off. And then he said, oh, and my second priority is to get these guys as far in the playoffs as I can. That's the wrong order, Nick. You're supposed to say the first one, and then afterwards you can say, and then after we're done, I'll take some time off, and I'll take some time to just take it easy. See, that's part of it is the ordering of how he said it really shows me his list of priorities and which is most important, Mike. See, I do this like all the time. I watch all their interviews all season long. I read between the lines. I see what they're saying and what is unsaid, but actually is being said. And this is how I read him on Friday. That he's done, bro. He does not want to be our coach next year. G saying, wow, so Fred propped up a player on his team. How horrible. What a selfish player. Propping up his teammate on his birthday. Oh, man, what a mean guy. Tristan saying, we got to bring the intensity. I like that. Yeah, let's bring it to them. Let's work some of this angst about Nick Nurse out on the court today, Raptors. Come out there and do it right. And kick some butt. I'm all about it. You go, Tristan Phipps. Good to see you, man. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. I'll get through all y'all's comments before I wrap it up today. Make sure I read everything. All right, where was I? Okay, I want to make sure I don't skip. Okay, Seymour saying, remember the night Siakam went for 40 or 50 against the Knicks? That was Nick Nurse's career night for wins, and not a splash of water went on him. Maybe he's holding grudges from then. There was times this season I thought he had lost the locker room. I don't think he cared about that. That's not something he cared about. In fact, he'd be very proud of Siakam. And they showed it in the open gym segment when the OG was throwing all the bottles at Siakam. Yeah, I don't think that's anything to do with what it is. I don't think that's anything to do with it. As far as like he may have lost the locker room at times, yeah, that may be true. That may be true. At times this season, maybe part of the difficulty is he's had a really hard time coaching this team with the personalities and different things that are happening on it. He's frustrated from the connectivity. He's frustrated from the referee's whistle being really bad against us all season. He's frustrated with the injuries and people coming in and out and not getting any continuity with that. He's frustrated with the schedule and being so weird and janky with like intensity at the very beginning of the season and like weird 2-game series and weird back-to-backs and all kinds of stuff. There's a whole bunch of different things in the kit and caboodle that frustrated Nick Nurse this year. And yeah, It broke him in some ways. And I hate that. And in some ways, it may be the straw that broke his back is something personal and we have no idea about. And I'll feel bad about if I do find out eventually. I don't know. Either way, Nick, you're a badass. You're supposed to be stronger than this and that you can get through this. And you're almost at the finish line. That's the thing that pisses me off. Dude, you could have just waited 2 weeks. You didn't have to say this then. You could have waited 2 weeks at the end of the season and said, I'm going to take a couple weeks off and assess where I'm at. And then I'll come back and see where my relationship is. It would have made more sense then. But in some ways, Mike, him saying it now is like tapping out because he's in a submission hole. He's so uncomfortable that he has to say something now. He's like tapping, uncle, no, I need to leave. I need to leave. He's in that bad of shape with things. It's how I get it from him. Space Cadet saying, Top, can you provide any evidence in your argument? Or are you just uttering what you heard on Twitter Spaces? Who told you that about Fred? Who made you think that? It's bullshit. Let's see. Nameless is saying somebody with a doctorate in sports science or whatever would know exactly what the implications of his statements are. Very calculated. I honestly think that Rich Paul and Clutch put him up to it and said, Nick, you do this, we're going to get you big money somewhere else. In some ways, maybe it was uncomfortable for him to do it, but he did it anyway. And now it's like maybe this is all like they planned it out to him and saying, look, you can get so much more money and we'll get you to coach the Lakers and LeBron. And we will orchestrate it all this summer. But you need to start the pieces of getting dislodged from Toronto right now. And if you say this, this will be the start of it. And it'll be the start of the divide. And that could very well be it. It could be the money. It could be the idea of like going and coaching the Lakers and coaching LeBron and his team. It could be all kinds of weird carrots that they're putting behind the closed doors in front of Nick. And he's like, yeah, this does sound good. This does sound good. Oh, I'd go from the Raptors who get the least amount of free throws because of refs to the team that gets the absolute most calls and all the referee calls and all the free throw trips. Ooh. You know, statistically, that's true. The Lakers have gotten a crazy plus amount of free throws against their opponents, like an insane amount that really shows that even though they're in the same spot as us in the Western Conference, that they're propped up by the refs to get free throw trips, and they're still only in the 9th spot in the play-in. Yeah, they're pathetic. All right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying someone had asked Nick Nurse if him and the front office were on the same page. He said yes, but in hindsight, was it true? And yes, same as Ken Burch before his trade departure. Gary didn't play for quite some time. You know, it's weird because like Masai said at the trade deadline, we're happy with the job Nick has been doing. But he also said that we're not happy with how guys are getting developed, that he doesn't feel like they're getting the right development time or getting the right things coming up. I'm telling you, the weaknesses of Nick are overplaying his starters, not playing enough bench, never developing a bench or role players. And that is a huge Achilles heel for us right now, that we've seen that having no bench production absolutely whatsoever. And some people say, well, that's the GM's fault. No, it's not. You can have good quality guys on your bench and the coach just doesn't know how to use them correctly. And he's fucking around. It's like, think about all the times we were talking about Jeffrey Doughton in the beginning of the season. And now he's finally come around to start playing Jeffrey Doughton now. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's not very smart with who he's putting out and when and where and what time and giving them chances. And sometimes it seems like, well, why the fuck didn't he play Koloko in this game? You know, why is that happening? Or like the whole, we were talking about the traffic between 905 and the main roster. Why are the decisions getting made where Koloko's not going to 905 to get a lot of time? And then he's just sitting on the bench on the main roster and not even getting any time there. That's what I'm saying. Masai said development is important for these young guys. And I think Nick's failed in that category. I mean, he's obviously failed in that category. We can all see that he's failed in that category because the bench sucks and the young players aren't getting developed. So Seymour saying we have to see it from both sides. Nick Nurse gets heat over schemes and rotation. Maybe the 3 years with no big man has taken his toll. Yeah, but he's got it now. He's got the big man now. He's got the opportunities. They did things to help him. And in some ways, he's still not getting the amazing results right now. Like in some ways, he's still lost games since we got Jakob that we should have won. And in some ways, it's like that Utah game, the first game that Jakob played, that was close and was miscoached at the end of the game. And that's part of the reason why we lost. That's what I'm saying. If they look at the record and they start analyzing all the losses, well, how much of it is coaching error? And how much of it is like things that he could have done different that we would have won? He's admitted a couple times that he has not coached well at times this year. He's very much said, I could have done a better job coaching. I could have done a better job with my rotations. So he knows that he's not been perfect or done exactly right all the time. G's saying the thing with MA is he ran a tight 8-man rotation as well. Is he a development coach? He coached a developed team. See, that's another thing that maybe he isn't the right fit because he's a similar coach to Nick. And we need somebody that may be something else. You know what? Who may be actually really super good for us? What if they fire Steven Silas and we get him up here? He might be actually very good. Who knows? I don't know. That may be a long shot, but who knows? I'm just saying, I'm not going to speculate on coaches that have jobs right now. So I'm going to definitely be speculating on coaches that are out, not coaching right now, but who knows what they could do. I'm sure that they've got a dossier on all kinds of good coaching prospects or coaching people that they thought about maybe having as the coach of the Raptors. So we'll have to see what they do this summer. We'll have to see. And if Nick finds his way back and he's still our coach, okay. But he did do some damage this week. And if we can figure it out and make it work and we can get his trust with him. But in some ways, I think everybody's kind of tired of him. And they do want to see a new look and somebody with new ideas. Space Cadet saying, can we sign MA with a no banging coworkers clause in his contract? There probably would be that. You're joking, Space Cadet. But I'm going to bet you money that if somebody hires him, that will definitely be in the contract that you cannot bang anybody in the company. It's ridiculous and it sounds funny, but it is true that we need this clause for him. We just probably do. Mike's saying everyone is overreacting, in my opinion. From what's been said by the team itself, isn't close to the theories and certainty of Nick's leaving now. He has another year, so he would need to be fired. Well, that's, I know he has another year, but I'm telling you, man, there's some weird shit going on, bro. And we may see it right as soon as the season ends. Trust me. Masai's may fire him. Seriously, we'll have to see. Maybe the players will have to play to keep him in like their coach. Like if they love Nick, maybe they'll play their ass off to try and keep him around by making them look good in the postseason. I don't know, Mike. You may think we're overreacting, but I don't think we are. I think in this whole season we've had problems. Well, now Nick is signaling that he's part of the problem. Seymour saying, first, we can't just put all the blame on MA. Those women were married. It takes two. Yes, once again, stand up for M.A. Udoka. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Once again, though, Seymour, he's the man in power. He is the guy who had the position of power. He's the boss. And that is wrong. That is always wrong. I don't care if it's a lady, like the lady who brings the towels and the water bottles to the bench. And he's saying, yeah, I'm going to have sex with you. And she's like, oh, okay. It's like that. It's not like you think. It's not like, oh, I love you, MA, and I want to be with you so bad. No, he's like going and taking underlings and making them his sex partners. And when they say, no, I don't want to do this anymore, he's harassing them afterwards. So don't try and paint this like it's like that. It's not like that. Seriously. The married woman, maybe, but not with the support staff. And when every time, like I said, I can't believe I have to nail this lesson over and over again. If you're in a position of power and you work with someone, don't have a relationship with them because it is never consensual. That's all I have to say. This is just a general rule in life. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you're a woman boss and you have a male employee and you're fucking him, you are wrong because you have power over their job. And if things go wrong emotionally, you can just fire them. That's what I'm saying. That's not consensual because in some ways the person's worried about their job. Or maybe they're worried about this or that. So in any kind of situation like this, the person in power is always wrong, whether they're male or female. Okay. So I'm not even going to make it about male or female. I'm just saying the person in power is wrong. And please just stop bringing up that it takes two, because in some ways in these situations, that is not what matters in this. Okay. Smooth saying, speaking strictly from a basketball perspective, Udoka did play for the Spurs and was also an assistant there. So there's that. Internally, I would like Adrian Griffin. Yeah. And, like I said, he had a lover, an inappropriate lover in San Antonio also there. So it's not like this is a track record. He has a few. He has them all over the place. And you can think, oh, wow, I'm impressed with him. I'm really think, no, that's toxic. That's not good for like having a trail of lovers and your co-workers and stuff like that, or people who work with you. Yeah. Let's see. All right. He's retracted his message, and Space is saying, "Top, this isn't the Fred slander stream." Yeah, top of top. If you want to just slander Fred, you're in the wrong place. You're not going to get any allies on this. We love Fred. We want Fred around. I want Fred to play for the Raptors for life. So yeah, you're not going to line up with us on that. And it's probably good that you retracted that message because it would have been your second strike. MSJ saying, "Yep, Nick Nurse and Masai seem to have parted ways, and Nick Nurse is hurt. I don't know, but I do know that Raps fans need to take a look to next year, and Masai has to provide the players a clean mental slate." Yeah. I mean, listen, I hate this. I wish it wasn't a dumpster fire, but if it's going to be a dumpster fire, we need to figure out the scapegoat and get rid of them and then start fresh and see if there's one person that's mainly the problem. If there's a player that's a problem, well, we trade him or whatever. We'll figure that out this summer. And hopefully we'll be in a better shape going into the season next year with a new identity in some ways. G saying Tatum and Brown are in the top 5 or 7 for shot attempts in the league. He may be a great coach, but are his philosophies better for a star-studded developed team? I don't know his history well enough. Well, he's only coached one season as a head coach, and it was that 1 year for Boston where they went all the way to the finals. So in some ways, he signaled that he's a coaching prodigy or like a naturally badass coach because he had such a booming success in his 1 year as an NBA head coach. So in some ways, that's what's so attractive to him. It's like 1 year of being a coach, and he went all the way to the finals. So, I don't know. Maybe he is too similar to Nick, and he's that kind of coach. But then again, maybe he has development kind of stuff that we didn't know about on the down low that works really well. Masai will know him very, very well, regardless, and we will trust in Masai. Mike's saying, when did Masai say that Nick's job is in question? I don't understand where that part is so certain. Well, I'm reading between the lines at this point, Mike, and I've seen friction, and I didn't want to talk about it all season because it wasn't real. There wasn't fire where there was smoke. There may have been a little smoke, but I'm not trying to pull things apart. Well, that's why you need to understand. I wouldn't be doing this unless I really thought this was for real. I'm not trying to divide us from Nick unless it's absolutely necessary. And at this point, I feel like it's necessary just because that interview was so horrible, Mike. Seriously, really, really bad, really poor judgment. And in some ways, the poor judgment shown by him in that interview and the selfishness makes me not want him to be the coach of the Raptors anymore. I'm just saying, Mike, it's that bad. I don't know, man. You need to look into this. I don't know where you were. Have you been under a rock for 2 days? This has been going on since Friday night. And I don't know what you're doing. You did your drop yesterday. Did you not keep up with what's going on with Raptors world right now? Because this has already been like 48 hours almost into the what the fuck is Nick doing? Like everybody's kind of been reacting like this already. And I don't understand where you've been, man. You should already understood this was going on. Seymour saying no banging coworkers clause had me dying. I mean, seriously, there's so many attractive women in Toronto. If he's here, he can seriously go to the brass rail. Go to other places. Go to the Eaton Center and go check out women in the women's apparel section or something, but don't do it in the arena. All right. Don't be looking for conquests in the arena. You go find them other places in Toronto. Go to the zoo. I don't care. Just go to other places. Go to Carabana. Go wherever and find new lovers that way. Just don't find them in the Scotiabank Arena. How about that, please? MSJ saying it logical. It's pure high octane speculation, but Nick Nurse did kind of let the cat out of the bag. My take is OG and Barnes are not down with Nick Nurse's vision, and Masai picked the players, rightly so. Yeah, in some ways, Mike, think about this. The way that Masai doubled down on our core, in some ways, some people like Grange and a couple other reporters took that as a signal as they're picking the players over the coach, and that the writing was on the wall when we did not blow the team up at the trade deadline. That in some ways, well, we do need some sort of change this summer, but they're trying to keep the band together with the players. But that signals that means the coach will be changing this summer. So that's what people like Michael Grange are saying as far as on their Twitter right now. They're saying that they knew this was probably going to happen because it was signaled to them when Masai stood pat with the roster and the players and keeping the core together. So Nako's saying Masai ain't going to press the self-destruct button, but he ain't going to let things get stale. Earl Watson or some old good role player should be the coach. Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that, Nako. I like that. And listen, Masai is not going to say anything publicly until after the season because he's smart. And that's the difference right there. Nick is just like shot his shot too early. He's already set his intentions with games to go. That's why I'm so pissed at him. He didn't need to let his cards down. He's like he's in a poker game, and he just showed everybody what he's holding. It's like, dude, hold your cards to your chest and don't let anybody see what you're thinking or how you're feeling. Bluff us. I don't give a shit. You could be wanting to leave here since last December. Why did you wait until a stretch run to let this information out? You could have just waited a couple more weeks, Nick. That's why I'm pissed at him. He should have waited. G saying, plot twist. You said he made himself the scapegoat. Is there a chance he did this to actually make himself the scapegoat and take the anger off the players? Highly doubt it, but you said something that made me think. That could, honestly, if he's doing that, what a humanitarian. Thank you, Nick. Honestly, I'm still going to celebrate him and love him. Don't y'all get wrong that I'm just mad at him for this particular incident and what it portends for our future and the coaching job for the Raptors. That he just made a dumpster fire. Now there's going to be think about all the speculation last summer about Nick Nurse and the Lakers wanted him and how Masai had to say what he said about Messi and Kobe. And now we're at this point. Well, now it looks like he's gettable. And now we're going to have a barrage of all the speculation until the chips fall where they may, to hear all the bullshit about the situations and different things that could happen with Nick all summer long. It's going to be bullshit. It's going to be annoying. So in some ways, I'm going to kind of be like Masai, just cut him loose and get a new regime in as soon as possible. Because in some ways, Nick Nurse is toxic at this point. Mike's saying speculation is beyond anything at the moment. A lot of reaching when the season's done. Things will be evaluated and we should have clear answers from Masai on things. Till then, everything is a lot of theory. Okay, Mike, technically you're right. But once again, I don't listen to Michael Grange and those guys with their speculation. I don't listen to Doug Smith when he has smoke. When there's fire, I listen. And fire is things coming out of the mouths of the principals. Masai Ujiri, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Nick Nurse. And when things come out of his mouth, I listen to it because in some ways it's not speculation. It's from the horse's mouth. And once again, I'm trained in some ways to read people. And I read Nick very clearly in what he's intending and what he's saying. And what I'm saying is what he is saying. And you can choose to disbelieve it or not want to believe it, because I didn't want to believe it too at the first, but I have to because it's there. It's the truth. It's out there. It's right in front of us. He said it himself. And as much as I love him and I wish he could be our coach next year, I don't think it's going to happen because he fractured that relationship on Friday night. He really, really did. He fractured it. And in some ways, I hope, in some ways, I don't hope that we can fix it and he can come back around. I really don't. I think that this is the change we need. And G, hey, if G's right and maybe he's doing something benevolent for the players to take the heat off them for this season and give them scapegoat, so be it. You're a great man for doing that, Nick. Thank you. Seymour saying, grab the 10-ounce bar of silver just in case this money collapse. Gold up next. You go, Seymour Pay. Thinking about commodities in the future and gold prices. You go, Seymour. You do what you got to do. Stillman saying, good morning, Raptor Freak. If Nick leaves, he can take that stupid digital analytical board with him. Yeah, we want to take the Noah with him, too. It's like, yeah, let's just unplug it. Listen, why is it, if he's such a shooting guru, why is it that we have Saturday or shooting school at night? We have the Noah system. We have such a shooting guru. He wrote a book on shooting. Why is our team one of the worst shooting teams in the league? Seriously, I wonder about that all the time. I'm like, what the fuck? We have a Noah system. This is the first year we've had this amazing system in our OVO. With this dude wrote a book on shooting. He's supposedly, he's got a shooting app. He's got all kinds of things about shooting being something he's good at teaching. Well, why the fuck does our team shoot so bad? Seriously. That doesn't add up to me in some ways. Something's not right about that in some ways. Really weird. Smooth saying the games are secondary at this point for me. I'm already looking to next year. See, that's part of the problem, Mike. Nick says what he says, and then Smooth Brown Man said, I'm checking out too for the season. What the fuck? Nick's going to check out. I'll check out also. Who cares? I mean, we're playing the Hornets today. We need to kick their ass in about 2 hours from now. Yeah, we need to kick their ass. Top saying, I wasn't going at Pascal's appearance with the Doughboy comment. You're going at Fred's. I was saying he's getting soft in the fourth. Scotty isn't as articulate as Fred, but has more of a team first mentality. That's bullshit. Fred has a team first mentality also. But Scotty does also. They both have it and they both fit together and they both get along and they're great playing together. All that kind of stuff. No, when you said Doughboy, I thought you meant Fred, that you were talking about his appearance and calling him the Doughboy. So you meant Pascal? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Leslie's saying, I feel bad for the Raptor players. What has Nick Nurse's comments done to the team? Sad locker room. I know, like in some ways, that's part of the problem. They've already had a hard time this year going through the motions of the whole season. And now we're going to add this fucking bullshit right at the end, Nick. I went to that Miami game last Tuesday. I saw how the good feelings were after beating the Miami Heat on our home court. And I felt like, wow, the vibes are back with our team. They're strong. Well, who killed the fucking vibes? The head coach in the pregame interview before the Philadelphia game. That's part of why I'm pissed too, Mike, is we get it out of the mud. We're finally in a good place. We're moving towards something good. And then fucking Nick does something stupid like this. If it's not him, it's the refs, fucking Scott Foster in Denver. It's an injury like Pascal in Dallas. It's just one thing after a fucking another this season. And now Nick is the final fucking nail in the coffin for this season. Himself was something that he could have controlled. Can you understand why I'm pissed at him, Mike? That this season's already been totally hard and difficult. And the coach just added the last cherry on top right at the end of the season. Fucking idiot. Doctorate of sports leadership, my ass. What the fuck is this, Nick? That is not sports leadership, bro. Let's see. MSJ saying October 31st, OG and Scotty were playing the wings and looking strong. Blew out Atlanta and had Gary Trent and Pascal going too. Best game of the season, but then never again. Fred Hero Ball started up and Nick had it happen. I don't agree with this. I was at that game. I saw that Halloween game against the Hawks where we blew them out and ran them off the court. Well, you know what happened the very next game? We blew out the fucking Spurs the same exact way. So this is wrong, MSJ. That is not the best game of the season. Well, it may have been, but we did continue to roll after that for a bit. Listen, the only reason why we had to have Fred play more in that period of time was because Pascal got hurt. And Scotty working as the number one, as the point guard, as the one, not the number one option, as the point guard didn't work either. So we had to revert back to relying heavily on Fred more than we had originally planned going into the season because it was an emergency backup plan to react to Pascal's injury and also the fact that Scotty being the one was not working at the very beginning of the season. So there were reasons why we started going to Fred more heavily in November. And unfortunately, when we went to him, he wasn't playing very well and it looked really bad. And then all these people started piling on him this whole entire season since. And well, I give him the credit for getting out of it and shooting well and playing extremely well for a good chunk of the middle of the season. Still, but maybe he's having a little bit of right now, and he had a little bit of then, but he's been very fantastic in a lot of places this season also, and y'all don't give him enough credit. Seymour saying smooth, we ain't dead till that X is next to our team. I know it's been a tough season, but the ride ain't over. Keep your seatbelt face end. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Seymour saying this, that we still have a chance. There's no X next to our name in the standings. That we still have a chance. We want that X next to us. We don't want the E. The E is the one we don't want. The X is good. That means we're in the playoffs. Let's see. Let me make sure I don't miss any comments since it just jumped. Holy cow. All right, here we go. Logical saying, sounds like people are in their feelings too much about this. It's tough to listen to everything now is Nick's fault, and now all critics are right. I watched him say the words, reaching hard now. Well, Mike, in some ways, I'm a Positive Raptors channel. Well, I don't want to go all out on everybody. We have a scapegoat. I'll double down on him and come on him, like mess him up hard. And at this point, he signaled that this is this, you know. In some ways, I am in my feelings about this, just like Oren Weisfeld's in his feelings about this. We're disappointed in Nick. We really do like Nick, and we believed in him. But at this point, I don't believe in him anymore. In some ways, this is like your hero letting you down, is what this is, Mike. And sure, you can say we're in our feelings. We're maybe emotionally reacting to this. But I've also thought about this very like just pure bones facts about it with no emotion. And everything about this was fucked up. wrong. And I am mad at him. Of course, I'm mad at him because this is not the time to be doing this. We like I said, I just said we had good vibes on Thursday. Well, the vibes went out the fucking window in the press room in Philadelphia before the game against the Sixers. Space Cadet saying MSJ. So one game where we blew out Atlanta at home without Fred in early November is what you're going to stand by. That's it. I think Fred played in that game. I don't know if he didn't play in that game. I'm pretty sure he played in that game also. People are just coming with different excuses and ideas. In some ways, yeah, I get it. I'm standing up for Fred, but I'm not standing up for Nick. Well, that's just how it is at this point. If Fred had done something like Nick did on Friday, I would be coming after Fred just like I am Nick right now. And that's the difference. Like he expects the players not to do something boneheaded like this. Like people keep saying, well, the players can say this kind of stuff. I was like, well, we don't want them to. And in fact, the coach should be a good role model and show them not to do this kind of shit. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, he's fucking doing what we hate when players do. And just because he's a coach, he's allowed to do it. No, fuck that. This is horrible timing. This is the worst fucking thing he could have done. And I wish he hadn't done it. Stillman saying, also, I wonder if Rico being with us shed light on the flaws in the organization. And he reports with Masai. I don't know. And Seymour's like, I don't know. Rico's an interesting entity on our team. And I think he's been good for the most part. Hopefully, we'll see how everything goes with the chips falling this summer. G saying Fred's weakness is that he has been inefficient and inconsistent this season. 20 guards take more shots than Fred. This is the new NBA. Guards shoot. Even Drew took 33 shots last night, but was efficient. Yeah, I think that's part of it. It's like if he's efficient, y'all don't have a problem with it. It's just if he doesn't shoot very well and he has a very poor shooting percentage and he misses shots and we lose, then we feel the losing and we blame him because we blame him as the scapegoat for being the guy who didn't make the shots late. That's fair to blame him for not hitting big shots late in the game. But over the whole body of work of his whole entire career, you have to understand that in a lot of cases, he's one of the most clutch players in the last few years in the NBA, and that you're disrespecting him for that factor. It's just in some ways he's been overplayed by Nick in games where he's been too absolutely tired and had to do too much and to come back on bad leads for the other team. And then it's just not enough gas in the tank in the last 2 minutes to make the huge daggers or the chance to come and overtake the other team by the little bit at the end. That's been a big symptom of what's happened this year, that his numbers and his minutes have been way too high so that he's exhausted at the end and he can't take over the game. Well, I'm going to blame Nick because Nick played him too much during the whole game. You can't play him the whole entire second half, Nick, like you did with Pascal and Fred on Friday night. You did not rest them once for the whole 24 minutes of the second half on Friday night. Of course, they're going to be dog tired and worthless in the last 3 minutes of the game because you didn't give them any bench rest. And yeah, that's really bad. Race Mode saying, I can't do it, Lex. Nick Nurse is untouchable for me. Coach Popovich gets away with what he says all the time. Too many things go on in the background, not reading into his recent statements. Well, Popovich is outspoken and says whatever he says, but it's usually political. It's usually stuff that doesn't have to do with the team in that way. In fact, he's like Belichick. He's very doesn't want to talk to them. He shuts up. He clams up. He does not show his hand like Nick did. That's what I'm saying. If Popovich is in any kind of contract negotiation with the Spurs, you never know about it. You never hear a thing in like ESPN, a headline saying Popovich contract going this. No, they do it silently. They do it classy. They do it business-like, behind closed doors, and it's not even an issue or a distraction. In fact, I worry about Clutch's involvement with Nick because they make it more bigger than it is, and they treat him like he's a celebrity coach, and then they make him all a big deal. Meanwhile, Popovich is like an ordinary guy. He's not trying to be a celebrity coach. He is because he's just who he is, but that he doesn't walk that walk. And in some ways, Nick is kind of doing that, and that's kind of the difference there that pisses me off. Is that you won't hear about Popovich's contract shit. You would never, ever see Popovich making a press conference like that one. He's too smart. He understands, even if he's in the season he's in right now, he would think about the young players on his team, and he wouldn't do what Nick did in that situation. I'm telling you, Greg would never do what Nick did on Friday night. He's too smart, and he loves his team too much. And in some ways, Nick doing that was very selfish. And it made me understand that this dude may be more about himself than I thought. And that's part of what I read into it too, Mike. And you go say, oh, you're reading way too into it. No, he's thinking about himself. He's being egotistical, and he's doing something that Rich Paul told him to do. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck him with that. As if this is a negotiation ploy and he's trying to get more money from Masai this summer, well, motherfucker, it may backfire on you. It may very much backfire on you. MSJ saying at Space Cadet, yes. As a coach, and you see that game and what the players were doing, which was not the normal. As a coach, Nick Nurse would have pivoted and said, I got to learn from Scotty and OG. He didn't. See, part of it is too. Nick Nurse is a weird gatekeeper on his team. Whether he punishes guys and doesn't play them all of a sudden, like Precious or Chris, all of a sudden, or he very much like doesn't. I don't know. In some ways, I don't agree with his style of how he like gives people opportunities, and when they get in and they're ingratiated, and whether he goes way too hard on those guys that he does have ingratiated with him, and he ignores everybody else. That's part of the problem with him not developing a bench. And I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of this shit. Jeffrey Doughton Jr., Christian Coloco, Delano Banton, Ron Harper Jr., for Pete's sake, at this point. The man had a triple-double in his last G League game, and the dude is playing pretty high level, and you can't see that. You don't even try him out. You just give him a couple of garbage minutes at the end of a game. That's what I'm saying. He's not developing these guys in the last 3 years. What has happened with Malachi? Where is the development of Malachi since we drafted him before the Tampa season? He's had 3 years to develop Malachi. Has Malachi gotten any much better than he has? Maybe on the down low, behind the scenes, but we don't see it in games. We don't see him making jumps and leaps in his development in games. And maybe Malachi is a measuring stick that Masai's looking at. It's like, look at Malachi. What has he done? What has Nick developed him into at this point? Yeah, he may not be happy or impressed with that, is what I'm saying. Let's see. All right, you guys. Yeah, I don't want you guys going back and forth at each other too much. It's not worth it. We're all friends here. Space at top saying, I use my ears and I know a slick talker when I hear one. I played and watched enough ball to know how Fred used to play versus how he's played this year, and it's obvious he's stat padding. Yeah, see, I can't get behind any of that. I can't get behind any of that. I'll let you say it because you can have your opinion, and you're not really insulting him, but. I can't get behind that in any kind of way. I just know what makes Fred tick, and it's not this kind of stuff. Don't be like Panser. Seriously, top. There's no reason. Mike Byers is here. Good to see another new name. Every day, 9:30 a.m. We're talking Raptors here. Tomorrow we'll be reacting to the game today at 1 o'clock, which is coming up quick, 2 hours from now, guys. Mike's saying, Nick let Philly go on like a 14-point run with no timeout. I was yelling at the TV. Yeah, this is something that he hasn't been good at his whole time coaching the Raptors, waiting too long to call timeouts and letting the team get on runs, the other team. And like, meanwhile, we're getting cut off whenever we even get like one good shot and we start getting momentum. The other coach is really smart and he calls a timeout and stops it right then. Nick has been really bad about this for years. He likes to let the team play through it. And it bugs the hell out of me too, Mike. I mean, the thing is like he's gotten a little better recently. Like he will cut it off real quick in some cases this year. He's been better about it. But in the past, he'd give them too much rope and things would get even worse because of this. This is a gripe I have with how he coaches. And I'm with you, Mike. I see it too. And it pisses me off also. But he's been a little bit better recently. And it may be because he understands his job is in trouble. Isaac saying, does Nick Nurse get credit when we are 2023 champions? Yes. Yes, if he can do this, if Mission Impossible can happen, if this crazy ass fucking season can turn into some sort of crazy dream run where it's kind of weird and at odds because of this whole situation, hell yeah, I love that kind of movie to watch, that narrative, that comeback story. For sure, Isaac. We will definitely give him a lot of credit for that, considering especially how much more difficult he's made it for himself. One comment in a moment of vulnerability, responding candidly to a Doug Smith setup piece, maybe a bad decision, but I'm not discrediting his commitment. Yeah, I don't know. I am. Once again, to me, it's very much the order of how he put it all. He is exhausted and tired and sick of coaching this team. You can tell he's sick of it. When he says 10 years has been a great run, he said 10 years is a great run. That's saying he's done with 10 years of being with the Raptors. As an assistant into a head coach, he's been with us for 10 years. He said 10 years is a great run. That sounds like somebody who's left. I'm serious. I read into what they say. It's not what they say specifically, it's what they're meaning, when they're saying what they're saying. And what he's meaning is 10 years is a good run. That sounds like he's done with us. Seriously. Space Cadet saying at MSJ, respectfully, I disagree. You really can't draw any conclusions out of one game where we beat Atlanta, who was tired and at the end of a road trip. Yeah, that was a good game. I had so much fun at that game. Adriana and I had such a blast at that Halloween game, watching the Raptors just kick the shit out of the Hawks. That was so fun. And that was the only time we beat them all year. We should have beat them the other game too. And then we wouldn't be in this fucking play-in bullshit problem. See, that's what I'm saying. We can blame Nick for not getting his team prepared and on top of things in that last second moment where AJ Griffin snuck in and got a last second shot and stole a game against us in Atlanta that now is very crucial to our play-in seeding and what's going on with us right now with being right below Atlanta with a tied record. That shot, that AJ Griffin thing, very much is one of the most crucial plays of this whole season. And the team had a lapse of judgment or did not do the right thing, or maybe the coach did not draw things up. I don't know. They failed in that moment. In a way, sure, it's the team's failure for not being ready, but it's also the coach's failure for not executing in a very crucial, important end of game situation. And yeah, so like I could get on Nick for that part. That like you didn't coach the team well enough to beat Atlanta in that game where AJ Griffin beat us. What the fuck, Nick? Now it really hurts us right now at this point. It really, really does. Let's see. Sheer Khan saying, go Raptor Freak family. Great stream with 40 plus people watching right now. Thank you, Sheer Khan. Please hit the like button for the algorithm. Need more people to join the Good Vibes fam. Let's get this one today. You go, Sheer Khan. I love your presence on here, man. You've been so awesome since you showed up this season. I really, really do value you as a contributor on this channel, Sheer Khan. And I see your work in other places also. I see you at Raptors Tonight. I see you in other Raptor spaces being such a positive, good Raptor freak in those spaces with your comments and fighting the good fight for our team. I appreciate you very much, sir. Yes, I do. Nako's saying, I haven't heard high praise for Silas's development. Well, let's look at it this way. Listen, in some ways, who knows? Maybe he just has knuckleheads down there in Houston. They're just a lost cause. In some ways, that Houston Rockets team is just a bunch of idiots. What if you get him with some real pros, guys that are actually really like bought in and like professional, like our Raptors are? Maybe he's actually a really good coach, and maybe he's innovative and stuff. I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I like to look at. Let's think outside the box. You know, there is a good chance that he could be losing his job this summer. And that, you know, he may be an attractive kind of coach. Once again, I'll trust him Masai, whoever our coach is next year. And if it's Nick again, so be it. And I will fully support and re-embrace him again because I trust in Masai's judgment. But right now, it's not looking like it's going to be Nick. Lion Hunter saying, how can you claim Fred's stat pads? He's like the only one on the team willing to throw those half-court heaves to end quarters. Laugh out loud. Yeah, he doesn't care about his stats. I don't understand this argument. I've never understood this argument. This dude is diverting water and he's trying to do it in the right way, whether it's him taking shots or passing it to other guys. His stats recently have been very unselfish. In fact, he's been erring more on being a point guard and distributor than being a shooter and scorer himself. Then the stats have shown that. So you go ahead. Tell me how he's stat padding. He's padding his stats with steals and getting us transition baskets. That's what he's doing. In fact, he led the NBA in the month of March in steals. He had the most steals out of any single NBA player in the month of March in the NBA completely. So you go ahead and tell me he's padding stats. He's padding that steal stat because he led the league in it in March. That's right. G saying Fred only attempts the 34th most shots in the league. That's not what a stat passer does. He has been inefficient, and that's why people focus on his shot so much. Many players take more than Fred. Yeah, I can get behind that mostly. His inefficiency is annoying. If he just make the shots, and part of the problem is we get so mad at him because he has open shots and he misses them because he's just a little bit off. Yeah, he can be frustrating, but that's part of it. You know, we got to understand that being in the NBA is hard. It's not easy. And these guys are going to have success and failure, and we ride or die with them. And that's part of the problem. Some people aren't bought in on the failure of Fred, and they don't want to ride or die with him through his failure. They just want to cut ties with him because his failure hurts them too much. They're like, Fred hurt me because he missed the open threes and we lost. He hurt me. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. No, no, and no. Fiercely voting for a dunk for Space Cadet. No banging clause. All right. What did Space Cadet say? Um, yeah, I don't know. It's got to be more creative and funny. They're kind of going back and forth too much. Too much. I'm on Space Cadet's side for sure in this argument. For sure, I'm on Space Cadet's side. But I don't want to really do dunks for that. But I would think about it fiercely. I don't know. Kuberon's here. Good to see Kuberon once again. Are the Raps going to win this afternoon? All right. Well, Kuberon, just real quick recap. The Raptors are playing against a very, very injured Charlotte Hornets team. They have nobody available today. In fact, they're starting Svi Mahalik as their small forward, and he will be very much counted on to carry water for them and score a lot of points. Their lineup's going to look like this. Svi Mahalik, JT Thor, Nick Richards, Mark Williams, Theo Maladon, Bryce McGowans, Kai Jones, Kobe Simmons, and James Bouknight. That is who they're going to have available today. They have very, very not very good talent. So it looks real good for us, Kubron. We need to win this game because this is not a good team we're playing against. And we need to just take care of business, honestly. MSJ saying game was the fork in the road. The players showed what was possible as they had fun and ran like hell. Nick Nurse is stubborn and never idolize him. He is not on the court. Lowry coached us to the chip. Ooh, wow. Wow, that's crazy, Burns. I don't know if I can get totally behind all that stuff. I really don't think I can. I do agree Nick is stubborn. I did idolize him, and I still look up to him, and I think he's a great person. I don't know if I can say that Lowry coached us to the chip. He had his part in being leader on that team, but you can't say that. Come on, man. Seymour saying, I must say a name just to stir y'all's pot. Okay. Mike D'Antoni or Steve Nash for coach. Hope I woke y'all up with that one. Wow. 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 That did wake me up. That's like a caffeine shot right there. Holy crap. That is very curious and interesting. Whoa. I don't necessarily want Steve Nash, but Mike D'Antoni, that would be very interesting. In fact, that would be like the flip of what we had recently. Mike D'Antoni is an offensive coach. This dude is an offensive genius. And if anybody can get our offense working better and up to speed with the rest of the NBA, as far as with the three shot and just getting better offensive potential outcomes from our players, I'll bet you D'Antoni can do it. That's very interesting comment, Seymour. I like that. I don't know about Nash, though. I love Nash too much. I don't think it would be good for him to be the coach of our team. He said he never really wanted to have anything to do with the Raptors anyway at any point when he was a player. He told me that personally. So I doubt he'd come here and coach us. And also, once again, I think his experience with the Nets was so bad, he may not ever coach ever again. And he may be like one of these greats that's just like, yeah, I did my try with coach. You saw what happened. Yeah, I'm not interested, guys. I'm sorry. I'd much rather be at home with my family, with my kids, than traveling around with a bunch of egotistical players that just piss me off. I think that's really where he's at this point. D'Antoni's getting older, so I don't know where he's at with that. He's an assistant, right? He's not actually a head coach anymore. He's an assistant. He was an assistant for Nash, I believe, at that time. Space Cadet saying at MSJ, the 5th or 6th game in the season in November was the fork in the road. Okay, but you seem to be missing my point about sample size. Yeah, nothing was decided at any point in last year's calendar year. And really, in some ways, a lot wasn't even decided until Pirtle got here. So, forks in the road and changes and different things that have happened this season, nothing really matters at this point other than where they are presently right now. And yeah, there you go. Mike saying early November, Siakam slipped on water. And then, yeah, that was pretty much where things started going downhill. G saying my friend woman boss had a consensual relationship with an employee and she got fired and couldn't run for politics. It turned ugly and the employee tried to sue after. Yeah, see, that's part of what you don't want. That's just a mess. Like, seriously, do you want to mess up your professional life with your personal life? That's why you have to keep them separated. You just have to. There's so many pitfalls and folly you can fall into. I don't care if it's going good and everybody's happy and it's working for a while. Things happen and things go screwy and people's feelings change. And then you don't want relationship anger and angst between two people in the middle of your organization. It's really super toxic. and really, really bad. Mike Byers saying, glad I just looked. It's an 11 a.m. game today. Are you in are you in a different time zone? It's 1 p.m. Eastern, just so you know. Now, if you're Midwest, it's 11 a.m. And if you're in Tom country, it's a 10 a.m. start on the BC coast. Yeah. So if you're in the Midwest, yeah, 11 a.m. start. Sheer Khan saying, just off topic a bit, can we pour one out for the Mavs season? Yet another casualty of the the Brooklyn's debacle. Cuban really buckled to demands and has no idea how to get most out of Luka's talent. Cautionary tale. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I will do that right now. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pour it on my floor too. I'm going to pour water on my floor just for Dallas. There you go. Just a little water for you. Just a little bit. It's on the floor. I better wipe it up. I don't want anybody to slip. All right. I'm going to wipe it up right away too. All right. Yeah. There we go. Pour a little out for Dallas. Yeah. They deserve it because they killed themselves with Kyrie. Kill themselves with Kyrie. Kill yourself with kindness. Kill yourself with Kyrie. Lion Hunter saying, how can you cheat on Lisa from Fresh Prince? I know. But it's not cheating, though. It's the arrangement they had. There's no problem with what MA is doing personally in his private life. There was things that the problem were professionally. And personally, it's fine. They got the green light. Go have fun. Nia Long's with young guys, too. She's going and doing her thing, too, behind MA's back. But it's all consensual. It's just the way they have decided to live their life. Fiercely saying so many rumors throughout the season, but now I'm thinking about the one about the players disliking Nick Nurse and playing bad on purpose to have him fired. Yeah, I don't like thinking that had any credence. But in some ways, with new knowledge, you find out more. And that's like science. You find out new facts. You got to change and amend the science. And unfortunately, there is a little bit pointing to this in some ways. I don't know. Infamous is saying, good morning. He is also from the Pop Tree. I think he would be a great hire. M.A. Adoka. Yeah, he is from the Popovich tree. You know, listen, I know that he's great as a coach. Don't get me wrong. The professional stuff in the job is fine. It's the unprofessional conduct within the job that is the issue. The dude's a great coach. I know he is. And I know it'd be very curious to see how he'd handle somebody like Scotty Barnes in an offense and what he would do with people like OG and Pascal and stuff. It's very intriguing. It's very, very intriguing. Cool Cat saying, I think the players want Nick gone too. Lex is right. In the workplace, you cannot have encounters with anyone in a lower position. By law, it's called sexual harassment. This is something like, seriously, I know that we have a good mix of male and female people in this chat. And that's one of the things I really highly value is how many strong female voices there are in this chat, like Cool Cat and Monique and Fiercely Salsera and Sue and Leslie and Lolita. So many females in here with us talking about this. And guys, I know you guys want to be players. You want to be out there and have a lot of lovers and feel like Hugh Hefner and stuff like that. That's a guy's dream in a lot of people's heads. Well, we have to understand that in society, in these situations, it's not usually the guy that's a victim or has problems because of it. There's a lot of baggage and a lot of fallout that usually falls on the female in the relationship side. And it's really detrimental to them and their professional career. And meanwhile, guys get promoted and go ahead and all this kind of stuff. That's the crazy, messed up thing. And that's the thing that there's a history of this happening in all kinds of awful, wrong ways throughout the history of time. And that, if we're progressing as a society, we want equal rights, this is a fight that is for equal rights for women. Because in some ways, the patriarchy and men have abused their power for sexual favors from women underneath them in job places. And that's why this is all wrong. And that's, once again, if I spelled it out even more clear in this way, having from a female perspective like Cool Cat, that's what I'm saying. By law, it is sexual harassment if you are the boss and you are trying to get sex from somebody underneath you. Now, if that young person, the person underneath you signals, oh, I like you and I want to hook up with you, and you still decide to do it, you're still wrong. Even if they're the ones who initiated it, because you're still in a place of power over them and it doesn't look good. In fact, if somebody comes to you like that, you say, no, I'm not doing this because this is bad and it's wrong and it's not something we should do. Just because you give me free candy doesn't mean I have to take it. is basically what the person should be saying. And if they can't, then they have impulse control problems. And then it's a whole other kit and caboodle. And that may be part of what Udoka's problem is. He has impulse control problems. He can't stop if he wanted to. That he's in that deep. That he just has to, he can't stop. It's just a train going down the tracks and he can't stop it. You know, that kind of thing. Duke's saying, I wonder how much clutch has to do with what is going on with Nurse. Maybe Nurse is looking for greener pastures. This is exactly what this is. You know, they're all saying it. The journalists are saying it. This is Clutch's playbook all over it. And that's why I'm so mad at him, Mike, is because he's letting Rich Paul fuck with his career like this. He thinks they're helping him, but they're not. They're helping him get the fuck out of the door with the Raptors is what they're doing. David's here. Good to see David Saborin, one of the real ones, one of my favorite Raptor freaks. David is the man. We love the Saborin brothers. That interview was bonkers. Guess Udoka is coming to Toronto after all. I don't know if it's him specifically, but we will probably have a new coach next season. Infamous said it. You said it perfectly. It's not speculation. It came directly from Nick's mouth. Facts. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I will not listen to Doug Smith all week. And you're not saying anything, la, la, la. I don't want to hear you. But when I hear it exactly from the mouth of Nick Nurse, I have to listen to it. That's why I only listen to the interviews. I don't read any of these ESPN articles. I don't read any of this speculative crap from Jake Fisher. I read the things that come out of their mouths, straight from their mouths. And that way you can't, like, there's no filter. There's no anything in between. You hear it straight from their mouth. And that is what's going on here. Click saying, going to miss the game today. Not like it's important. This season is a wash. So much drama with this team. It's crazy. I'm going to be happy, Raptors fan, when the offseason strikes. I mean, I'd like to grind it out and get a little further for sure. But I hear you, Click. This has been a marathon. This channel has been tough to do this season with the ups and downs. It's been really, I'm really proud of us, though. We've done a good job weathering the storm and staying positive and staying true Raptor fans through all of this. This has been a hard year, definitely. This has been very similar to the Tampa year in some ways. And last year, we celebrated so many victories, and this channel was a lot more light and fun. You can ask people who were here last year. We had a lot of fun with reaction streams with big victories like over Denver in Denver or Phoenix in Phoenix. But this year has been difficult, and there's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of disappointment. There's been a lot of nightmares. And, getting through the season has been an accomplishment for us, not just for that team. The stream record has not been unbroken. We're still consecutively been going for almost 600 days on the stream. And we're not going to mess that up, especially now that we've gotten through this whole season. We're not going to mess up now like Nick did. Nah, I'm going to keep going. But yeah, I'm hearing you, Click. I'm ready for this offseason too, but we didn't need to talk about it yet, Nick. We really didn't need to. That you kind of got out of order with that. Let's see. Let's see what's after Click here. All right. I love all the comments, guys. You guys are filling it up. David's saying when the coach is talking like this, the season is over. I know. See, that's what I'm saying. When he's like that, I'm like, what the fuck are we even doing then? Why even show up for these games against Charlotte and Boston and Milwaukee on the last day? Why even go to the play-in and play in the play-in? We just going to lose a bunch of games now? Mike's saying, I'm going to see if I can put something through to show my take on the words, but mainly Nick's contract. All right, Mike, you go look at it. Seriously, listen, you can have a different perspective on it and hold out hope, but I really do think the writing's on the wall and that this dude is gone. And it's really because of Clutch. Clutch is saying you can get way more money and go somewhere else. You had such a hard time on the team this year. Well, let's get you out of there. What if LeBron really wants Nick Nurse to be the coach of the Lakers and that he's orchestrating all this as the owner of Clutch? That's going to be fucked up and fishy as shit. But if Nick is the coach of the Lakers next season, aren't you going to think that's a little fishy, Mike? Seriously. Jimmy's saying, as long as the season continues, I will hope for victories and cheer the most I can. Whatever happens this offseason is whatever. Jimmy's saying, don't put things ahead of themselves. Take it step by step. We still got games. A Charlotte Hornets game very soon today. Then we got them again. Then we got 2 games with Boston. Then we got Milwaukee. Take it one step at a time. Jimmy's not waving that white flag. He's going through the poll process and seeing it through to the end. And I appreciate that, Jimmy. I can understand why Click and some other people are like, I don't want to watch anymore. Fuck this shit. They've stopped. But I can understand why Jimmy's like this also. And I'm with Jimmy. Pope of positivity. We're not giving up. I got to do this content for this channel. Of course, I got to watch all these games. Top saying, you ask why we shoot poorly. when we have good shooters. It has to do with when and how our shooters are getting the ball. Is it in their shooting pocket or is it a bailout pass? It makes a difference. And David's saying precisely. I can get behind this top of top. This may be your best comment all day. I agree with this. I feel like our shot selection has been suspect all along. I feel like it's partly because of the flex offense. I feel like it's partly because of the play call sets that Nick has put together, that he's not very smart. Like the pick and rolls with Jakob could have been used way more recently, but that's the kind of stuff we probably should have been doing before he even showed up. That, there's all kinds of different things they could have done to make things easier for them on offense, but they always seem to do the hard stuff like isolation or not even utilizing each other's great talent, whether it's a mismatch or a size advantage or a speed advantage. We're just not utilizing our abilities to beat the other team on offense effectively enough. And I can totally get behind this. Some of it is poor shot selection. Some of it is just not completing easy shots. The execution has been poor in all kinds of different situations. 2-on-1 breaks for us, getting right to the basket and being right there and the ball just rims out, not dunking it, instead trying to lay it up soft. It's different stuff like that we could have done way, way better this year as far as like execution. Kareem's saying, I'm not blaming Nick for anything. Out of 15 players, we have 6 that can actually ball. And 3/4 of the season, those 6 guys were injured. All right, Kareem's going to be devil's advocate here. And I'm okay with him doing this. Take your stand and stand up for him. I can kind of get behind, like, as far as like maybe we don't have the most complete talent depth through 12, but in some ways we do. In some ways we should. We should have at least guys that are role players that can step up and do specific things that are helpful in minutes. But he doesn't do that. It's like all or nothing. He wants these guys to all be OG and Scotty. And if they're not, then they're not getting on the court because they have to be all around good talent all the way around. And I don't know, Kareem, I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm glad you're standing up for him still. There's nothing wrong with that. G saying when Fred didn't play versus Memphis and Scotty was point, the Raptors were blown out. This isn't not an exclusive Fred in his shooting and passing. The team was made of non-shooting wings whom are learning to shoot. Yeah. There's evidence on both sides. Scotty's been a failure at times. Freddie's been a failure at times. Scotty's been a success at times. Freddie's been a success at times. It's just people are picking and choosing and cherry picking the spots that they want to look at more. Fred has had incredible success this season and has been a big part of our success in the middle of the season with a lot of our winning streaks that have happened this season. Fred was very much leading us and leading the charge on any of these like little win streaks that we've had. Good times that have happened. So David's saying 6 players. What team are you watching? I think we have at least like 9 good players. It's just that they don't all get to play all the time. Line Hunter saying, I think Fred sat for that Hawks and Spurs game and they won those 2 games. I think that's the point he's trying to make. Okay, I don't even remember. Like, honestly, I don't take that in as the factor. It's like, okay, Fred wasn't there, so we're good. I don't ever think that way. Like, just because Gary's out right now, he's less disposable. He's more disposable because we missed him the last few games. No, in some ways we've needed Gary more than ever because our 3-point shooting has been so bad. So I don't like getting into this. If the team has success because guys are sitting out because of injury, that they're not even a factor, and they shouldn't be counted into the whole equation. Just because it's an addition by subtraction. No, that's bullshit philosophy. Fred helps us when he's in the game. And when he's not out, we win despite him not being out there. How about that? Let's see. Jimmy's saying, I don't like scapegoats. It's a terrible excuse. This shit's a team sport, and the coach puts you in positions to win. And we've had plenty of chances, but our top players couldn't execute. Goes both ways. Yeah, I don't like using a scapegoat either. But in this situation, it's effective. It's smart. It's just the way we should do it. The fans of our fan nation are going to be coming for heads because we've had a disappointing year. People are going to naturally want to point fingers and say, whose fault is it that the Raptors weren't good this season? Well, do we want to spread the blame over a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of players, the front office, the coach, everybody? Or can we just make a patsy, make a fall guy, make a Tim Donaghy, and lump it all on one person? And hopefully that will help things going forward. Maybe they have other lingering little problems with conflicts personality-wise that Masai makes a move with the personnel on the roster to fix that also. and then Nick's gone, and then boom, all of a sudden the energy and the feelings around the team are way better, and we're getting way better results on the court as far as wins and shooting and stuff like that. That's what I'm wondering about. I mean, I don't like just picking one person, but in some ways, Nick raised his hand and said, "Hey, I'll be the scapegoat. Hey, I'll be the scapegoat, guys, right here. Go ahead and put it all on me." And in some ways, he's saving Fred. He's saving Pascal. He's saving Scotty. He's saving Bobby Webster. He's saving Masai Ujiri in some ways. I don't like it either, but in some ways, this is what the positive Raptor fan has to do in this situation: eat their own to save the rest. Stillman's saying pregame interviews today should be interesting. Ooh. I don't know. Nick didn't have an interview after the game, or like he had a very brief interview after the game against Philadelphia. I don't know. I hope he doesn't have an interview today. Just stay away from microphones for a little while, Nick. Seriously. All right. What did Alex say? Let's see what he said. Trade Fred for Boston's water boy. He can run faster. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a strike. That's a horrible take, Alex. Come on now. David's laughing at it though. Shere Khan saying a case can be made for Pascal All NBA with his stats alone. The only knock on Toronto guys is our record. Some of the players in All NBA aren't as clutch as others, but still make the list. Most definitely top 20. Well, it's not even about clutch. The clutch factor shouldn't matter for Siakam. The stats matter. And honestly, he's third All NBA team. I know some people are saying he's going to miss it, but I don't believe that. I think he's still going to get it. I think he's going to get third team All NBA. And he's lining up for it. One of the things that's in the collective bargaining agreement they decided this weekend is that it's going to be positionless going forward, that they're not going to have it where you just have one center, two guards, and two forwards, because it hurts people like Joel from being on, or Nikola, because they can't both be on first team All NBA. Well, now they can starting next year because it'll be positionless teams. So we could actually see like a 5 center first team All NBA. It'd be like Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, Steph, and Luka. That may be the all first NBA team or something like that. That's what I'm saying. It's they're making it positionless. So this will actually help Siakam. And it'll help OG too, because they're looking at the all defensive teams, and OG is only eligible at the forward position. He has no guard eligibility in consideration for all defensive team. It's kind of unfair. Meanwhile, guys like Jason Tatum have guard and forward eligibility. There's all kinds of players that have both guard and forward eligibility, but they've already said that OG is only going to be considered for forward eligibility. So in some ways, that cuts his chances of making the all defensive teams because of that. So they're going to change that as part of the agreement. They're not going to have positions matter for all NBA awards anymore going forward. And that's really good. Alistair saying, but if you bring another, he's the same problem Nick has. Changing the coach doesn't fix your team. Yeah, well, we got to wonder about that. That's why Bobby and the Masai really have to be sussing this out. What is exactly the problem with the Raptors? What is exactly not working? And what can fix it? Is it a problem with one of the players that's being toxic on the down low, and that's part of the problem with the connectivity of why they're not playing well together? Is it because Nick Nurse has lost the players to a degree and they're not totally bought in the right way? Or some ways that he's just like burnt out because he's worked so hard for a few years now and he has never gotten any time off. And maybe he just hit a wall personally because of different issues he's dealt with personally this year. And now he's just burnt out. It may be that he doesn't even want another NBA job after the season right away, that he needs time away from the sport and just needs to take time to just recharge a little bit. That could be part of it too. So I don't know. I want to think that whatever Masai and Bobby do, we've got to trust them and they'll make the right adjustments and we'll see dramatically good results. And that's what I'm hoping most for, Alistair. David's saying Space Cadet deleted Alex's message. There wasn't anything wrong with that comment. Allowed to have an opinion. You know, I don't mind. Like in some ways, I can go back and look at it, and I did look at it. I think it is unfair, and I think that it is kind of like an insult. And I will give Alex a strike for it. Maybe Space Cadet was just trying to look out for Alex and say, like, you know, don't say that. Lex is going to give you a strike. It's insulting to our captain. And I hate how much bullshit that Fred has gotten directed to him from Raptors Nation this year. I don't even think y'all are fans that hate Fred so much. Seriously, how can you hate Fred? Fred is an amazing underdog story. You hate underdogs? because that Fred is the epitome of an underdog. And I love him because he's just accomplished so much with what he has and where he came from. Dude, how can you not like him? Seriously, I question people that hate Fred so much. It's like, why can't you not be impressed with what this guy's life story is? Like, are you not understanding that this dude was not supposed to be in the NBA in any kind of way? And that he is, and he's carved out what he's carved out and gotten to at this point in his career is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, in some ways, Fred VanVleet is the greatest undrafted NBA player in the history of the NBA. You know, some people may say it's Ben Wallace. Some people may say it's Moses Malone. But in my opinion, I think the greatest undrafted player to ever play in the NBA is Fred VanVleet. And I can honestly say that he is in the contention with guys like Moses Malone and Ben Wallace. That is not a crazy statement for me to make. And in some ways, people need to respect him a little bit more and stop fucking saying they trade him for Boston's water boy. That's fucked up. I mean, it's fine for him to say it, David. It's a free country, but it's still a fucked up comment. Lion Hunter saying, I would not mind seeing this team play more man-to-man defense with the occasional double as opposed to the aggressive constant doubling. Yes, that may be a big, huge difference with a coaching regime change. That we may see where the things that are valued and most important to the new coach are not the same as Nick. And in some ways, they may utilize our personnel to a better degree as far as offensively more efficient because we have more energy spent on that end of the court. The NBA is becoming more offensively weighted. Well, maybe we need somebody that can really get the most out of our offensive players the best. And that's something that Nick has not done good at. He's failed at it actually a lot. G saying, Alistair, I love Masai, but this roster needs tweaking. He will fix it, but they just got a proper center, and a team of non-shooting wings is not easy. Can't turn certain players into shot creators. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm excited about the prospects. In some ways, people get stressed out about change and unsettledness. For me, I always like it. It's an opportunity, and I get excited because I kind of like, you know what, something cool and news coming, and hopefully something really good. We'll have to see. Space Cadet saying, David, that's considered an opinion? Trade Fred for Boston's water boy because he runs faster? Okay, noted for next time. No, don't listen. You didn't do anything wrong, Space Cadet. If your impulse is to do that, go ahead. I can always review it anyway and look at it afterwards and just see, and I probably will. But if it pisses you off, you want to do that. I just don't want you guys to overmod. I told David this early on, is like, listen, I'd rather you guys don't mod at all. Just let it go ahead and be filtered, and I'll mod it afterwards. And if somebody's really bad and you see it ahead in the chat, go ahead and do it then. And these guys know, like G and Tom, that have been around since the beginning and been modding since the beginning. They know kind of where the threshold is. But honestly, you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I would have been pissed off at that comment, just like you were. And I probably would have done the same thing if I was in your shoes. So don't worry about it. But less is more. Let's just put it that way with the wrenches here. Shane Waters is saying, David, Alex's comment was going to get him kicked out of the channel. Not necessarily kicked out, but definitely a strike. Definitely a strike. He's just saving his ass. Yes, he's being a humanitarian. You go, Shane Waters. You go, West Coast. Bradley's here, Canadian Cowboy. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Sorry for not being around, but I had my son yesterday at 2 a.m., a new Raptor Freak. Can't stay, but let's get a win today. Later, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Let's go. Congratulations to Bradley and his ever-growing family. A new son born yesterday at 1 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning. Congratulations to you and Anya. I hope that you guys have just a healthy, safe birth and that everything's come out all right and everything's great and that you guys are just happy with your new bundle of joy. Such great news today on Sunday from Bradley and his family. Awesome. David saying, I got in shit for deleting my own comments and one comment from some moron attacking me for the better part of an hour, repeating the same moronic ad hominem attack. Just be careful. Yeah, that was a while ago, David. And that was, I don't know, that was a weird situation. I don't totally remember it exactly. Well, you got the wrench back. I'm just saying, guys, don't use the wrenches. They're really there so that you guys don't get your comments filtered out. The reason why I give you the wrenches is because we were worried that YouTube was like not getting your comments through. When I give you the wrench, I know the comments get through. And that's really more why I did it. Now, if you guys have to mod, really do it like very rarely, very, very rarely. There's really no reason. We want to have an open forum where everybody can espouse their opinions, even if they're dumbass opinions. Tom Duke is saying congrats to Bradley. That's nice. Isaac saying nice, Canadian Cowboy, on Pascal's birthday. That's right. Your son has Pascal's birthday. That's awesome. David saying, Tom, my man, happy Sunday. Yeah. And Bradley also, great discussion today. Thank you, MSJ. We try and do something good. I need to get this done, though, because the game's starting very soon. Tom Duke saying, let's fucking go. Happy Sunday indeed. Lion Hunter saying that AJ Griffin winning layup was a huge coaching fail, doing the unnecessary full court press. That was on Nick. See, Lion Hunter agrees with me there. Monique saying congratulations to Bradley. G saying congrats to Bradley. Yes, big happiness. Always good to have more Raptor freaks coming in the world. Shirkan saying, that just a theory, but maybe Nick Nurse is not with the plan Masai is set on for coming seasons. Masai believes in young guns, but maybe Nick Nurse wants trades for different players to make his job easier. Very interesting theory, Shirkan. That could be part of it. There does seem to be a little bit of a divergence between Masai and Nick at this point. At this point, I can really read it that way at this point. Alistair saying, yeah, South Carolina just lost to Iowa in the Final Four for the same reason. They had the number one defense, but didn't matter because they could not shoot, and eventually their defense fell apart. That's what I'm saying. It used to be defense wins things, but defense has had its nuts chopped off. And the most important thing in the NBA now is three-pointers and scoring a lot and trying to outscore the hell out of them. Now, if you have a little bit of defense to stop them in key moments, that's kind of the MO that you should have at this point. A high-octane offense that can score like crazy, but then having a good enough defensive unit to shut things down in crucial times when it really matters. That's kind of like the winning formula for how you build your team now. Maybe you can't be like a stifling all 48 minutes like defense like we've been and having to rely on that, and because we don't do enough scoring. That it's just that the league has changed. So yeah. Infamous is saying hell no to both Nash and D'Antoni. Laugh out loud. Infamous isn't a fan of that. I don't like the Nash move. I don't think it works, but D'Antoni would be curious about that. He is a little old, though, at this point. He is quite old at this point. I don't remember the last time he head coached, and I think it's partly because of his age. Isaac saying Raptors are going to win by a spicy 43. I love that. I love that comment, Isaac Campbell. That's awesome. Jody saying great basketball day. Raptors play, and also the BioSteel game with great young Canadian prospects. Thanks for bringing this up, Jody White. It's BioSteel Day today, and this is a game where people like Delano Banton and Chris Boucher and people like that played in these games and brought up as Canadian prospects. So the young Canadian prospects are on display today at the BioSteel game. Thanks for letting us know about that, Jody. Kenrick's here. Good to see Kenrick. Chronic Art James. If you guys need a tattoo or any kind of art commission, Kenrick Chronic Art James can be found on Facebook. He's a fantastic artist. He's done art for this channel. You see some of his art in some of the thumbnails for some of the streams. You go, Kenrick. Good to see you today. If we're talking development, I like Mark Jackson, but I am sure Masai is thinking outside the box. Ooh, I love this name. Kenrick, former Raptor, Mark Jackson, who was, in some ways, he was like dissed by the Golden State Warriors as the coach when they got Steve Kerr. He has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he is somebody who's a very interesting mind. In some ways, he's similar to Earl Watson, an old NBA point guard, a valued vet, somebody really respected around the NBA as far as his basketball mind. But that's a name that I hadn't even thought about, and I'm glad you brought it in here. This is why we do things like the Thursday Think Tank. That people like Kenrick come in with names that I didn't even think about. Mark Jackson. That's very interesting. And the fact that he was a former Raptor in good standing, that doesn't hurt either. Have a coach. Would he be the first coach of the Raptors that actually played for the Raptors? That would be awesome in a way. Think about that. Kubron saying, which team do you think will take it all other than the Raps? If I have to pick a team in the East and then pick a team in the West, I'd much rather have a Western team win it. I'd really love to see Memphis win. I don't think it's likely because of Ja Morant and all the craziness, but Memphis is the team I'm rooting for out West. Definitely. Now on the East side, and it's really weird at this point, I'm starting to root for Philadelphia. It's crazy. Like, I hate the Celtics. And now that Milwaukee's got Goran Dragic, I cannot have them win. So if I have to pick a top Eastern team, I might be getting behind the Sixers, partly because of our good friends Let Me Cook and Random Gamer being such good sportsmen about being in this chat with us and being part of the Raptor Freak family. I might have to start rooting for the Sixers to a degree this playoff. Seriously. I know that sounds really crazy, but in some ways I am. Alistair's saying the only development needing is shooting. Yeah, maybe we need to get a shooting guru, a guy who really knows shooting really, really well. Wait, that's Nick Nurse. Well, what the fuck, Nick? What are you doing then? MSJ is saying, I really think Lowry did coach the team to the chip. In the timeouts, he was very vocal. He ran the offenses to a T, and it's never been seen again once he left. No, I won't agree with that. We've seen that kind of stuff since. Lowry was an important leader, but come on, man. It's not exactly like that. I mean, you could say that. Then you got to talk about Kawhi leading the team and coaching it to a degree. You got to talk about Fred's part being a coach and leader of the team as the backup point guard. I'm not going to buy this. Lowry was an important leader and was an important part of the hierarchy of the Raptors at the time for sure. But he didn't just straight up coach the team. Come on, man. G saying, Kyle, all right, I do want to get to the end here. Kyle was a great leader, but Nick came up with the wall on Giannis, and the boxing one was Nick. The schemes were Nick. Lowry was a vocal leader. Yeah, I think G's got it more correct in what he's saying. Obviously, the boxing one was Nick. Infamous is saying, I question this fan base. Are people fans of the team or players? A true fan is loyal through good and bad. If you're out now, you're not a true fan. Sorry. Yeah, I'm with you on this. In some way, but listen, there's different levels of fanaticism and fandom. There's, as I said, there's fans, there's fanatics, and there's freaks. And the freaks are the positive ones like us here. And, we're going to stay through and through. We're going to have Tom Duke is going to be here with me every morning, whether we win or lose. Some of us will be here no matter what. Some of us, though, in some ways, listen, we have busy lives. You have other things you want to take care of. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe work is really intense and you don't have enough time. Some people put it on the back burner, their fandom of the Raptors, when it's not as serious with what's happening with them. That's the fair-weathered fan of Toronto. They do it to the Leafs. They do it to the Blue Jays. Now, in some ways, as a Raptor freak, I get upset with those people for being so fair weather. But in some ways, they're a part of our nation, and they're valuable because they're like reserves that are brought in when things are really going good. So I don't get mad at those fans because they don't turn me off. They don't make me upset because they're still fans. It's just that their connection to the team is not as strong, and they maybe want to just kind of be away sometimes when things aren't exactly that fun or enjoyable or fun to watch. And that may be because they're just very busy people. I have no problem with this, but I understand what you're saying. The one thing I'll get mad at is if people get upset because they don't trade Fred, or people get upset because they don't do this move and then they get mad at the team and they turn on it and they say, I'm not a fan of the team anymore. Like, I don't like fans that switch teams every year. Like, one year you're a Raptors fan when we win the championship, but the next year you're a Golden State fan all of a sudden. That's weird to me. So I don't mind the fair weather fans as long as their allegiance is ultimately to the Raptors. And that when they come around and they reinforce us in the times when they're good, that's nothing wrong with that. But I'm with you, Infamous. There's different levels of fandom. There's casual fans, just kind of like, I like the Raptors. And then there's people that are real fans. They're like, they go to the games and they care, but then maybe they don't care when they don't win. Then there's people that are fanatics that really care. And then there's people like us that are just diehard positive and following through everything with them. Alistair saying Scotty and Pascal can work together, but they sure can't win together. Ooh, I don't know if that statement's correct. I really don't. In some ways, they really are. They could very much be a Batman and Robin. And this is the thing. Scotty might be Batman. We just got to let it develop and see how it works. I think they actually work really well together in a lot of ways. In some ways, they're similar. And that they the fact that they can both pass and shoot, that is very, very valuable. So I don't, once again, let's not pigeonhole our guys in certain ways and say they can't win together. That's bullshit. They can win together. They've won a lot together in the last 2 years. Cool Cat saying clutch modus operandi. Their MO is OG not happy with touches, Gary Trent Jr. Lakers, Fred VanVleet contract, Nick Nurse contract. Never before have we had drama publicly like this. Clutch does this for everyone in the NBA. Wow. I mean, I can get behind the Nick stuff for sure. I don't think the Fred stuff has actually been a distraction. His connection to Clutch. The Gary stuff may be on the down low, part of the problem with him sitting right now. OG thing was all bullshit. If they were floating that shit to try and help OG, well, it backfired. And in some ways, they're not doing a good job of making OG seem unhappy. If OG's unhappy, he's not unhappy. And I don't think that stuff came from Clutch with OG. I think that came from other teams wanting OG and not necessarily Clutch in his representation or OG himself. Now, the Gary thing could very much be with Clutch, him holding out and not playing right now because he's injured. And Nick's frustrated about that. And that's kind of a weird, hypocritical kind of thing. Well, if you're doing things on behalf of what Clutch thinks you should do in press conferences, Nick, but then you're getting mad at Clutch telling Gary to hold out and not play at the end of the season with his elbow injury as a leverage move for his contract, yeah, you're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite in that way then. But yeah, Clutch is probably a factor in a lot of our problems right now, especially now that Nick's done what he's done. NBA Quick Takes saying, hey, are you Raptor Freak? Yeah, I'm the Raptors Freak. NBA Quick Takes. Are you NBA Quick Takes? Yeah. Well, what's your quick take today? Go ahead and tell us. David's saying, Raptors Freak, thought this was the Embiid fanboy club. Shirkan saying, Raps have motivation to get as many wins as they can. With 5 games left, they'll try to get 5 wins. Nick Nurse's comments just distracting, but OG and Barnes are locked in. Believe Fred and Spicy will shoot better for sure. I'm behind that. I'll get behind that. Let's see how we dismantle Charlotte today. It looks like it's an hour and 15 minutes. Aha! I better get off here. Raptors Freak. What? I thought that it was Penn State basketball. Am I going that direction? Seriously, I'm not coming after Fred. So that's not me. And I'm not like overly talking about Scott, like, oh my gosh, Scott, this and that. I mean, Scott's great. He's amazing, but I'm not like him with Scotty. I am coming after Nick, though. But rightfully so, y'all. What he did on Friday was not good for our team. And once again, anything that's bad for the Raptors, I pick North over everything. So if it's North over Nick Nurse, it's North over Nick Nurse. And that's what it is at this point. In some ways, he's a bad distraction at this point, and that's why I'm mad at him. So Pascal birthday today. That's right, Infamous. Let's get this win for Pascal today. Let's go. Shirkan saying new All-NBA rules make more sense. Tatum was pissed at the fact that his forward votes were not counted as much as guard votes. Just eliminating positions altogether makes sense for positionless league. Yeah. I'm with you, Shirkan. There's some good innovations from the CBA agreement that they agreed to this weekend. Some good stuff. Now the players can invest in different things. One of them is betting sites. That's bullshit. That's fucked up. But they can invest in cannabis companies also now. And they can smoke marijuana freely. They do not get in trouble or tested for cannabis anymore with this new agreement. And that just makes sense with the way that society's going with legalizing cannabis these days. It would be so stupid that the NBA players still get in trouble for cannabis from time to time when you can go down the street and just buy some cannabis legally in Toronto at this point. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I think low-key some players are toxic. Nick Nurse is frustrated and burnt out. Losing takes a toll when you're in a winning environment. Well, that's why it's not an easy job. That's why that is such a hard freaking job to do. And not many people can get to that level and do what he does. That's what makes you great. Well, in some ways, listen, I don't care. Like, he needs to be just that tough. And in some ways, he didn't make anything easier for himself by being so outspoken. He should have just clammed up. And honestly, if he's already been clamming up the whole most of the season with these issues, why talk about it now and make it even harder on the stretch run? In some ways, I just don't agree with it. You may be very much right, Cool Cat, that there may be something toxic. Some of the players may be being toxic in some ways on the down low. But I don't know who for sure. And I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to start saying who I think it is because it's irresponsible. And until we know more about the reality behind the scenes with the Raptors, I'm not going to speculate in that way. So Carlos saying, I for one am ready for a new coach that will set offensive schemes that utilize the roster properly. I can get behind this, what Carlos saying. I really can. Alex is saying, okay, Fred for a box of wine and a block of cheese. All right, that's your second strike. Are you trying to get him now? Are you really trying to get him now? You got 2 now. You get one more, you're gone. You don't want to be gone, do you? The NBA Quick Takes is saying, Raptor Freak, you need more subscribers to get monetized. We need you to get paid. I love what you're saying, NBA Quick Takes. But in this world where everybody values money so much, I'm not that person. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. I have a very comfortable life. I'm very happy and I'm okay. I'm taken care of. In some ways you're right. For all the work I do, I should be compensated. But I'm also, that's not why I'm doing it. And in some ways that it makes me as pure can be pure. that my passion for this team and my love for the Raptors is the main thing that drives me. Now, some other people may be getting a little bit of money from their YouTube channels, and that's what drives them. And eventually, this hopefully will naturally evolve into something where I do make a bit of income off of it. But we'll see. And until I get to 1,000 subscribers, I won't be there. But you can help me, NBA Quick Takes. Put me on blast. Make me a quick take. Cut me up and dice me up in little sections, and put me on blast on your channel, and put me out there as a quick take on some of the things I'm saying. I appreciate that, though. Nameless is saying quick takes. That's the most accurate comment of the day and deserves a dunk. I won't give him a dunk because it's self-serving to me what he said. But I appreciate that both you guys feel that way. It really does mean a lot to me. Monique is saying, W stream, Lex, despite a mixed bag of togetherness at all times. Seriously, keep pushing through. Hello, bench. 8 seed is definitely calling. Always support you, Lex. I appreciate that, Monique. Honestly, seriously, you are a big part of our Raptor Freak Nation, and we do really, 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 really value your insight and your presence on this channel all the time. G saying, problem is you can't turn non-shooters into shooters just like that. Shot creators are a different breed. The roster needs some tweaking. So we need more ballers. We need more hoopers. We need more guys that fill it up. We need more guys that can shoot like James Harden, leaning to get a foul and mess around and still going in. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I can get behind this. We've done Vision 6'9", which isn't really a shooting kind of model with your roster. And some of these 6'9" guys are great, and we have a lot of them. Well, maybe we need other kinds of players that can shoot and really are hoopers like that. In some ways, I was hoping Will Barton would be that. We needed Otto Porter Jr. for this season. There's been a couple of different guys around the team that could have possibly been this role, but they haven't stepped up and taken it like Gary did for most of the season. So Nameless is saying the wrench is just more like a status symbol on this channel. Laugh out loud. No, it's actually just to keep people comments through. Like I've been giving wrenches to people when their comments are complaining that my comment, you didn't read it. Why didn't you read it? Well, I don't like that. So I'll give you a wrench. So we make sure your comment gets read by me. And that's basically what's happening here. Smooth saying the thing is, I don't see how the players can respect the guy who's checked out. I think now it's all professional pride and loving the game, getting flashbacks to Vince and his nonsense. Wow. That is not a horrible comparison. Like Vince very near the end of his career with the Raptors. Yeah. And Nick right now, that is not unfair. I'm serious. Smooth is pretty on point today. Him and I are pretty much on the same page with Nick Nurse and what's happened here, the way we see it. That's exactly right. How are we supposed to buy into what he wants for this team or motivate us? Why should the guys go all out and play the way they're supposed to on defense for Nick if they know he's kind of like got one foot out the door? That's why I hate this so much, is that we should be putting the pressure and putting the pedal to the gas, like right down as fast as we can at this point in the season. Instead, we've got this now. And that's why I'm really mad about it. It's like this is when we were supposed to really hit into high gear. Instead, now, why should anybody do it? Because the coach has signaled that he doesn't care. He really doesn't. Isaac's saying way too much finger pointing and blaming one person player for a team game. I'm speculating we the champs 2023 rumor has it. Go Precious, go Scotty, go Vets, go Nick, go Doughton, go Nick again, and go Masai. I love Isaac Campbell being positive and being a little bit of a defender for Nick. I'm okay with that. Once again, you know why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for the better for the whole team. And that's the only reason why. If I didn't have to dump on Nick and come after him like this, I wouldn't. But he made himself a target. He very much did. Carlos saying, I hate the front office slander from some fans this season. One down year and people saying we're a poverty franchise. I hate that whole term, poverty franchise. It's stupid. It's messed up. And in some ways, it's ugly in today's society where people are dealing with poverty like crazy. And it's not even fair or nice to use that term in this kind of way. We're definitely not a poverty franchise. If there's a whole bunch of teams in this league, there are way more. And the one we're facing today is one of them. But we are definitely not. We have a recent championship. We have a lot of good things going for us. We have the rookie of the year currently. So there's nothing about us that makes us that description. And I hate that term in general. I think people that use it, I judge them more than them judging people being poverty franchise. Anybody who uses that term, to me, I kind of judge them. That these are idiots. That I just don't like that term. Shane saying Nick Nurse really fucked up with that comment. Idiotic timing. I truly believe that he wants to reflect on the makeup of this team and how to run it. He will be here next year with a reinvented vision. Now, this is an interesting flavor. It's a little different than when we were saying. Shane's saying that he fucked up with the comment, but he still thinks he's going to be back next year with a new approach and a new idea of how to do it. Okay, well, listen, I'm not against this in some ways. In some ways, I am. I want new change, but in some ways, I'm like, if this is what Masai wants, I got to trust it. And if he still believes in Nick and they are still going to try, maybe with a different approach, maybe you can do better. I'm just going to trust Masai blindly. That's basically my standpoint on things. NBA Quick Take saying, I think Scotty is Scottie Pippen like, and we need an MJ. Well, because he has the same name. I don't know about that. In some ways, I think he's more like a Magic or a Jason Kidd, and we just need more scorers around him for him to find with assists. G saying, if people need to step away because it affects their mood and mental state, it's probably best for them to step away. I don't mind the torture at times, personally. I have learned to disconnect during the downs emotionally, as not as a fan. That's a good thing to do too. Is like this is a good place to like learn temperance and kind of feeling to separate your emotions from what's happening with the team. I had tough lessons with this when I was younger. I did not do good with this. I was always a horrible person when the Raptors were on losing streaks because I was just not fun to be around because I was in a bad mood. And in some ways, that wasn't fair to the people around me. That my mood was controlled by whether the Raptors were winning or not. And that's not a good way to be. You shouldn't be like that if you're like that in your life. Trust me, it's a horrible thing. I lost partly my wife, partly because of that kind of behavior. She left because of partly that behavior, just so y'all know. Nameless is saying Nick Nurse may have directly and purposefully put a bullseye on his back for the sake of the team on the way out. Like Jesus Christ. We could be entirely misreading him potentially. People know this. And Cool Cat's like, nah. I mean, I want to think maybe this of him, that he's being a martyr, that he's being a scapegoat. And hey, I'll go with this too, because in some ways that makes him bigger for this. And we still absolve responsibility and put it all on him. And he takes it. And then when he's also a hero at the same time, I can go along with this, Nameless. I like this dialogue. I don't mind this storytelling here. Mike's saying Nameless facts. There's a play in this where he's trying to take the pressure and questions off the players and make himself the story they want to talk on. There's a lot of at play and things are uncertain. Yeah, but this isn't the way to do it. In some ways, we're undercover already. He didn't need to bring any attention to us at all. And in some ways, this is not the right attention. Like he's all right, Mike, in that interview, he said he complained about all the noise about the trade deadline and our players getting mentioned in like 99% of all the trade rumors. And he's complaining about that. There was so much noise around that time. I was like, well, okay, you just complained about that. And now you turned around and made a whole kit and caboodle yourself. That now there's going to be a whole bunch of noise about you and your coaching status with the Raptors. So in some ways, he's a hypocrite for being upset about trade deadline noise around the team. And now he's created noise around us at the playoffs. That's stupid. That is so dumb and hypocritical. And it makes me mad that he did it. James Joss is saying, shout out Raptors Freak. Let's get it. Pascal Pippen going to work today. Thank you, James Joss. Kick some ass in your day today. This game is coming up quick in an hour. I need to finish up my stream. I haven't even done the real MASCOT matchup yet. Let's see. Nate was saying exactly right. Logical. Now all the questions are about Nick and not about the players' careers and current situation. Bingo. Well, hey, in some ways, if he's trying to divert in that way, all right, fine. All right, that's good. Maybe NBA Quick Takes is saying no new coach, please. Oh, see, we got somebody who still wants to keep Nick. All right, there's nothing. We'll have to see how it all pans out. I don't know if I'm gonna be right or not. Isaac saying, especially for a young team making a push. Alistair saying, Lex, you just said they are similar to. They are similar. That's the problem. You get too much of that one thing because they are all the same position. We need what you need is one power forward, not two. Okay, so you're saying because they're all Vision 6'9" and they're all the same, that's part of the problem with our team? That they were right last year when they said, oh, their roster build's all crazy because they only have forwards. They only have wings. They don't have a center. They don't have a point guard. Well, we got a center now, and we do actually have a point guard. His name's Fred. That may be part of the problem. The Vision 6'9" is a failure, and it doesn't work. That may be part of the problem also. I'll agree with that. Cool Cat saying Nick Nurse is, as professional coach is media savvy. He really wanted his perspective to be known. Personally, it is unprofessional. He could have waited until the State of the Union interviews at the end of the season. Exactly. Boom. Hit it out of the park. Cool Cat has been on fire today on Pascal's birthday. Cool Cat is killing it today in the comments. and just really sound, really smart stuff. And this is exactly right. The timing is horrible. He should have waited. Nameless is saying, here's a question for everyone. Is Nick Nurse guaranteed to even finish the season? Has anybody even thought of that possibility? No, I did think about this yesterday. I thought maybe Messiah will fire him today. And we might see a different coach start coaching this team right away, like Earl Watson. What if he's the coach of the Hornets because Messiah relieved Nick of his duties because of the press conference the other day? That may not be out of the realm of possibility. It'd be really crazy considering we're right at the end of the season. In some ways, maybe not smart. But if he did do that, I wouldn't be shocked because of Friday. Seriously, I wouldn't be shocked if that happened. Monique saying Lexathon in full effect. I know I'm getting the 3 hours. I didn't want to do that. Let's see. All right. Let's do the real mascot matchup real quick. The last time we saw the mascot, he's a fugitive. He's on the run. The Heat is after him. And he's in a little small town, and he's watching his six because he knows that there's a police after him. There's an APB. Well, Officer Foster has sent Officer Brothers to this small community to try and find the Raptor to arrest him for his part in the yak damage at the beach. And, well, he's trying to stay low. Actually, the Raptor has gotten a job in this small town working at a convenience store. It's been a couple weeks, a couple months. We're flash forwarding in the story, and he's still just working in there. Now, Officer Brothers has been staking out the convenience store. In fact, he's going to make it a sting of trying to get in there and arrest the Raptor while he's in the store. Well, he's set up outside, and he's ready to go in and get him. And the Raptor kind of knows something's up. He kind of could tell there's a plainclothes officer in a car across the street that's been watching him. So he's kind of onto it. We'll have to see what happens. Will this sting operation that Officer Brothers is on to possibly arrest the fugitive Raptor be successful or not? Right now, he's still free, the Raptor, but will he be able to get away? And did somebody call in and give him a tip about him being at that convenience store? And that's why Officer Brothers is there watching. We'll have to find out next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. The Raptor working at a convenience store. He's watching his six. He's looking over his back because he knows the heat is on him. And that actually Officer Brothers is in a sting operation outside. Sting operation. Get it? Ha, ha, ha. Next time on the Real Mascot Matchup. Yeah. Alistair's saying we can go back to our old format and be dominant. Yes, Alistair. Yes, that's what I want to hear. That's what I love. All right, it's noon. I better finish up. Real quick, injuries for today. Good news. Delano Banton and Will Barton are probable to play today, so they're more likely to be able to be available today. Meanwhile, Gary Trent is still questionable. But we'll have to see. Maybe that'll change. Who knows what's going on with Gary? The Charlotte Hornets have a laundry list of injuries. LaMelo Ball's been shut down for the season. Terry Rozier is out. Kelly Oubre Jr. is out. Gordon Hayward is day-to-day. P.J. Washington is also day-to-day. Dennis Smith Jr. is day-to-day. It's almost like I should just tell you who's available for them. Well, basically, Svi Mihalik and J.T. Thor. So there you go. That's your injury report for them. The referees today are Tony Brothers, Ray Acosta, and Dedric Taylor. This is a very friendly ref crew for the Raptors. We should be very happy with this ref crew. Tony Brothers will reward hard work. So work hard, Raptors, so that you're on the good side of him. And Dedric Taylor is just a good luck referee for the Raptors. We win a lot. 71% of the time when Dedric Taylor is present at the game. So not a bad ref crew going into seeing this. I handicap this game as this is a must win. We better win. And if you don't win, I'm blaming Nick Nurse for his fiasco on Friday for us losing to such a shitty Hornets team. All right, y'all. Have a great Sunday. Raptorize your day. Get ready for that game. It's in an hour from now. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I appreciate all of your patronage. Do you think we cover? I don't know what the spread is, and I don't really encourage gambling. But if it is any kind of a cover for us, yes, we should cover and then some over, I would hope. I don't know what it is. It may be like a 15-point spread at this point. As far as like, if it's 15 points, yeah, we probably could cover that still too. So who knows? We'll have to see. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors.